worse than like meeting the Deep Mother. Mostly because of treasure. To be fair, there was an augury, nomad augury, and it was like mostly wheel.
I did
It
find
was mostly wheel. Mostly. Losing a limb but getting like 50,000 gold is worth it, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if regeneration doesn't work on you, well, you can get a robot limb.
Leah has Gina's hand cannon already, so what are we? I would love to.
F for Gino. I don't even know this character. People love him so much.
He knows him because he's from a really obscure game that nobody played. But I love him.
It's so bad.
That game was pretty popular.
Our boy Dirty with that Mii Fighter costume. No.
Honestly, I got Banjo, and if I could have if you would have told me in 1995 when I played Smash 64, who would you want in this game if you could pick anyone, I would have said Banjo, and it's still true. So I can't complain that much.
I only just played Banjo for the first time
He's so much
today,
fun.
and he's a lot of fun.
He seriously plays like he could have been in Smash 64. There's nothing flashy about him. There's nothing super interesting. He just is. He's just a crisp fundamental Smash character.
Yeah. And it's just based really well around his movesets from the N64 game, because there have not been any Banjo-Kazooie games since then.
Exactly. He, honest to God, feels like he could have been in Smash 64.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really like Terry still. Also, I need to get this damn game for myself so I can play it. Yeah. I have a Switch Lite. The what? Yeah, that's the one I really like. But no, my brother's home on leave from the Air Force, and he brought his Switch and Smash with him, so we've just been playing that real hard the last few days. Doesn't have a lot of the characters unlocked, so we've been getting them together, and it's just old times.
Love it.
But I still don't have the game myself.
It's all I do is play that game. Oops.
They just watched last week.
Or read my fantastic wiki articles that describe the session in excruciating detail. It's in the Crosswinds campaign discussion every week. But not quite the same as a bookmark.
Thank you. Oh no. Right. We were gonna check that
God,
out.
it's a colored
that?
sprite.
Yeah, we changed it. Who's that half health over here? Someone's got the half health icon.
I think that's your celestial spirit.
Oh, they're fine. To me, my angel, I need to get some healies on, some heal mongering, and Toto needs to be mended while we're here, I guess. Hearing about the dragon, no might ask if it's okay for him to go check it out. He's gonna try and communicate with it to see if it's hostile.
I can
I
come
think
with you.
probably best we all go together. I reckon.
It is the best idea. I could use some healing
Although
too.
With the well
maybe
responsible.
keep a little different distance and don't threaten it too much. Make sure it doesn't
Mhm.
think we're here to kill it.
Absolutely. It's behind glass, right? Like here. Oh, gotcha. There's glass. Oh, I thought there was glass. Make it back a little. Do you get the sense that he was also put in the penance area? Yeah, sure. I think so. I don't know if that's reasonable. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to kind of connect to its brain. And I do the usual introduction. Do not be alarmed. I am Nomad. We were here to be cleansed. Were you sent here too? What is your name? Rack? Type that? Raxenfronte. Are you affiliated with Patramaxus? Patramaxus is the younger one.
Alexina.
Yeah, Alex
Alisana.
Trezor. I think, yeah. Alexina.
To be fair, I just wrote the article like 2 hours ago.
Oh no. Pat is outside. We met him recently. And we've heard of your mother. She's fine, last we heard.
No, man.
Probably yes.
Make sure you don't ask for its name. If you give it a name, then it'll be harder to kill later.
Unfortunately, it has given it.
All right, well, step aside.
Gale, no. It's hurt and injured.
That's the perfect opportunity
Just a baby.
for now.
For now.
Gale, if you want me to, I'm with you, but I kind of agree with friend Nomad here. This seems like an opportunity to make a friend. Powerful friend. Maybe somebody who could help us against Ozzy.
Nomad nods at Nordo and he says, "We need as many allies as we can if we are to take on the entire fleet."
But you're my friend first, Gale. I'll do what you want.
All right, but if he tries anything funny,
I'll be the first to spring up.
I do hope you have some. What's the word I'm looking for here? When you excuse some actions because it's a child and they tend to do stupid things. No, I guess.
Foolishness.
Yeah.
While Nomad is talking with this dragon, can I look out these windows? And this is probably an enormous long shot, but as someone who grew up around the ocean, does this look more to me like bottom of the ocean or like super unfamiliar, aberrant, deep, underdark creatures?
I'm gonna start pinging for aberrations and humans and see where the closest settlement's at.
Where is Elise and how much mana juice does she have?
I don't know if
AoE
we need
heal
an
sounds great.
do we need an AoE heal? It looks like I know that Gale's pretty hurt.
yeah, I'll.
Yeah.
At least can save it. I'll throw in Aura Vitality on
Sweet.
Rex, and I'll take whatever leftovers. It's terrible. Yeah, I took a couple hits.
I think Flick took some, but I think he got healed at the end of last session too.
Yeah. I took a few hits too.
I'm at like half mana if Elise wants to save hers. I'm not sure. You said she was at like half, so she's probably got more than me still.
I lied. I can't actually do that.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I technically could, but I would lose 10 men.
It's quite a lot of mana.
Bless you.
You need more, Gale?
I should be okay.
Okay.
Holy
I
shit,
lied.
is that you?
I was gonna say I've got a bunch of lay on hands that are free. I've got lots of mana.
Yeah.
Do we have a Yule?
Is that a Yule C that just checked out?
Wait, is it really?
My heart just fluttered.
It's a Christmas miracle.
How'd you get here? They count as two. They unlocked the door for Grandma. Hi, Yule.
Grandmother, you made it.
And Gremlin.
Well, now I heard there's just a bunch of ruckus going on, so figured I'd swing in and check and see how y'all were doing.
Well, you heard right.
All right, well, I'll see y'all later.
See you later.
Do you want a full recap of like the 40 sessions you missed? Because I can do it in like 10 seconds.
Yes, please.
Literally nothing that matters to you happened. And we found out the delicacy, we know where she's been taken. And she's been taken there by a bunch of fast food mobsters and their food people servants. And where we currently are has nothing to do with that.
Perfect.
And now you know everything that Yule cares about.
Sounds great. I'm here for a very short period of time,
Just
but I wanted to
long
give
enough.
you a Christmas miracle.
A Christmas miracle. Here he is.
Wait, did you say purgatory? Like, how do you spell it? No, okay, I see what you're going for, but I thought you said burger-tory,
For the record, I thought you
like
did
it's some
too.
kind of food thing.
You could totally open like a super hip burger joint in a nice neighborhood and call it Burgatory.
Right? Right across the street from Kuma's Corner.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Kuma's is slightly burnt down, so the market is open.
Slightly burnt down. What happened?
Yeah, they had a fire a couple months ago, so
No way.
yeah, they've been closed.
That's crazy.
That's unfortunate. I hear they're very good.
Yes, but that's why we haven't had Kuma's in like 2 months.
Well, they better be open in time for our C2 opener.
Probably. They said probably after the first of the year. They said it would take like a
What
good
is that
4 or 5
again?
months.
That's in 2 weeks from Saturday.
Gotcha.
I probably should finish drawing character that, and by finish I mean start and finish.
In fact, we need you to paint our character's stat.
Right.
Okay, sorry. So, are they actually referring to this place as Purgatory? And if they are, do I have any idea where we are?
Could I try religion as well? But also, I do not believe this is purgatory based on the things I've read. Does every religion have a purgatory? It's a common term, it seems. Sure. 23. We were cleansed. Sent straight to purgatory. Yeah. Cool. Another question. This is gonna be weird. About the architecture here. Does it match the city's architecture? Like this is built by lizard folk hands? At least specifically the lizard folk. Sure. We'll go history. Flick is hungry.
I'm sorry.
Look at chips.
Oh, it's because I'm not on push to talk. What the fuck? One
Yeah, I
second.
was wondering if I could just hear you in the background.
It's okay. You haven't said anything embarrassing about
Does it
this.
say, yeah, I'm glad I'm not talking shit about anybody over here. Oops.
No, that was the gist of it. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah. Yeah, there's levers there that open doors, glass. I don't know if the people above had glass. Mhm. But for them. Is this dungeon OSHA approved? Oh. Yeah. Like the place where Arcturus actually was, for example, with all the stairs. Where we had to stand against the mind flayers that invaded. Nomad tells people this. The architecture here is kind of similar to Eridanus. At least the underside.
Guess that makes sense if the lizard folk feller was wearing the same robes as them Beelithids, what we found in their dynasty. They've been around a long time, seems like, but
Now we know who
Oh.
their tailor is.
all connects to the Deep Mother, I suppose.
What is the connection to the Deep Mother here? He looks over at Flick. Aside from us. Oh.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Exact number. Gotcha. Guys, I think we're in space. There's nothing around us. No, I'm just kidding. We're surrounded by aberrations, and there's only one other humanoid within 5 miles of us. And it's like
Huh.
a tiny bit of. It's not like it's. It's like feels like a small. Like it's like an inch, like a small human.
I guess that makes
Something
sense for
barely human?
Yes. Kind of like how you kind of don't really feel. I don't want to tell you this, Nomad, but you don't really feel like an aberration. You kind of only a little bit.
It is alright. Like, it is very hard to offend me.
I guess it makes sense for the bottom of the ocean. Everybody knows monsters come out of the sea, so
But
come
that
down
brings
this
up
deep.
that brings up a question though, and I apologize if this gets off topic. If I'm using my primeval awareness to detect humans, at what point in a woman's pregnancy does she become too human?
Make a decision about this, Feck.
The baby is 1/10 human.
At exactly which trimester?
I am just kidding. We don't need to do this. At birth, it just becomes a whole human.
Are there decimals? Cool. Right.
It's like when you shake a glass with a little bit of water, you can feel a little bit sloshing around. Tiny
So,
bit human.
this is a little unfortunate, but I do not think this is where they sent the ship. Perhaps inanimate objects go to a separate area in this same place. Shall we?
Well,
How long
check?
has our friend been down here?
Oh yeah. Well, let's ask.
Do you speak English?
Common. We killed several monsters. Not that big one, however.
Did it talk to you? That's just rude. How long have you been down here? Like, was that like yesterday?
little orc, you found that in the slime, didn't you? And he points to the leg wraps that you found.
My stockings? Sorry, my leggings. I'm sorry.
Right.
I figured that. Are they like Vasu shaped? Like they look like they're made for Vasu?
I just mean if
We found leg wraps.
Yes. What about it, Nordo?
I was just thinking if. Well, first I was thinking maybe that was something that got cleansed and sent down here in the slime, and maybe that the shit parts could be in there too. But
Or
I
it
suppose the
was
more likely
someone.
thing is, yeah, someone was wearing it, and the rest of them's all ed up.
Well, you know what? This room's still open. Here, I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna see if I find any other pieces of clothing just lying around, like gear from someone.
Oh yeah, there might be magic stuff. Um, would you like to take Vasu and his magical eyes?
He was already in here,
All
and
right,
this
he
and
was.
this is the one thing that he sensed magically.
Oh, should we check the other rooms?
Probably.
Well, I think we should, but there's still slimes in a couple of them, so we'll need to
Yeah.
gear up for a couple of swings.
No more in ours at least. Yes, we're looking for things that will be helpful for us in order to survive this. Do stay close. We'll protect you.
Oh. Gimme.
Grenade. A grenade.
Do I also see? What do I see with my true vision?
What?
True sight.
Is this? Yeah. He looks at it, and whoever's holding it, he just says, "Perhaps it is a part of a telescope or something, or a looking glass. Not a looking glass. What do they call those? Magnifying glass. Some clear.
That'd be a real shitty telescope.
Yeah, no, Matt, do you know how those work?
Yeah,
No scientist or
Right.
nothing, but don't think
It
that
does-
works super well.
It does require a lens clear like this, but I do not know if it's convex or concave. Is it a flat disc or like? That's not a very good telescope.
My brother,
Or a
that is
microscope.
that is what lens?
This lens.
It's a coin.
That is a coin.
I mean, it's look. Yeah. What does it look like? What does it look like? It's
What's
made
its
out of?
mint? What's its mint? Is this a similar make to the skull that Ace has? Perhaps, because
Yeah,
I
was gonna
cannot
say
perceive
that
it.
when we were in Larvalfen, you couldn't see any of that whole big giant spire we went and explored. Maybe something like that. Anti-mind flare magic. It's got little pictures of
Can I see it?
octopus men on the front.
Oh, that makes sense.
May I see it?
Now it's mine.
A coin was dropped. It's Gale's now. I like to imagine that's a rule we have in the party. If you drop
Gale?
any coins, it's Gale's now.
Gale, may I see it?
Okay.
Thank you. I look at the mint. You said there's like weird aberration shapes on there or eye shapes. Do I recognize anything about it? Do I have advantage because either humanoids or aberrations? Okay. You said history or what?
It looks like it's gold to us, right?
Oh.
If I use my magnifying glass, do I get advantage? Okay. And I don't know anything about like mind flares with the third eye. Okay.
Is that familiar symbology with like the Deep Mother specifically? Probably wouldn't know anything. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, tight. Thank you.
Hey, Gail, do you also have the identify, or is just Nomad? Oh wait, Yu's here.
I
Yu's here.
It's true.
Grandma, can you identify this coin, please?
Well, I mean, I guess. I'm a little rusty though, so I can't promise it's going to be good.
Yes, that was quite a nap you took. We assumed you were dead on a couple occasions.
we
It's
kept
just one of
checking for
them.
rot.
It's one of them old person things.
Oh, that is fair. You helped remove.
Napping for 2 months.
You helped cure Flick's mother, however. So thank you for that.
You did it.
You helped. You gave Nordo the recipe. He made the cupcake, and it gave me inspiration.
You've been doing an awful lot of cooking in your sleep, too.
It's like a loving ghost.
I mean, I just sleepwalk a lot. It's fine.
When it's identified, though.
It's just the metal. It's just the material, huh?
Does the material? I think Nomad asked this. The material doesn't look anything similar to the skull that I have, right?
And the skull doesn't have any stones in it, right?
Quick question.
So odd.
Quick question. When I sensed the person who was somewhat human but not really, did they also have aberration in them or not? All right, I'm gonna go ahead and be like, "Hey, Nomad, I'm gonna go doo doo da in a second, so I'm gonna put this goal on in case we run into aberrations."
Oh, that's fair. Oh, you disappeared.
I haven't put it on yet.
Just taking it out, I think, makes you invisible.
Well, if the thing's part of some sort of lock and key, I imagine we need more of them. Maybe some of them are in the slime too, so
Yeah,
maybe
we
a
should probably.
quick pass through all this slime with Vasu's magic sense up, see if we're missing anything. Although these ain't magic, so I guess that won't help us too much. Does this coin ring up to Vasu's ability to detect magic? Oh, okay.
Okay. Is it abjuration? Okay, that makes sense.
And I'm assuming we didn't sign. Did we see? So whenever we went to this first room and that was empty, did we see any other clothing? Like,
Heck of many things.
Let me see. Let me see.
Can I look through this like foggy window and see into that room and see if any of the oozes in there are still up and going? I know one died from my bleed.
Right. We're just in there. It's definitely dead
Huzzah.
now. Yule was in there.
Excellent work, Sound. Do I
One
see
more.
any, not that I expect to, but any, like, I don't know, wood or like airship sail parts, anything that looks like it's like not all the way corroded from an airship maybe about a week old? Okay.
Nomad Vasu, quick questions for you two. Where are Nibbler and Shu? Were they transported down here with us? Or were they left back in the other area?
Let's check.
I know Shu rolled the charisma save, so she should be here somewhere. Or he.
Because
They.
because if they are behind, then I don't know if that's any information for us, but
Has Napoleon survived this journey? Probably just in like a pocket, one of the pockets of my skirt. Ruh-roh.
What's that? Oh no! Napoleon!
Well,
Mordo, you need to stop having pets.
I mean, he only had 8 or 9 more days to live anyway, so
It's fair.
he went out in a blaze of glory.
Oh, they've died. 6 months ago.
Yeah, I haven't asked anything about Sunny because Sunny's still there. Yep.
I don't even know who it is.
Who's Sunny?
Other campaign, I had a
Oh.
familiar, then I lost Find Familiar, but it doesn't say anything about it going away if you lose access to the spell. So as long as she doesn't die, she's just there.
Yeah.
As long as you don't take her to battle.
I've mentioned her because she's there. Yep.
All right. We should probably head to this next place, and then
Yeah, Moat, Elise, did you guys leave anything alive in this room?
like literally juicy, or just like battle-wise juicy? You mean slimy, maybe?
Yeah, that's true.
Interesting. Is there any like sign as to why this room might have had less slime in it? Investigation?
Full of sin the people are put in, I guess.
Can I use my spyglass to investigate? Or my magnifying glass? Interesting.
Any other trinkets or anything in there that we find?
I don't really know enough about slimes to know whether organic versus inorganic material causes it to change the viscosity, but it is different viscosity.
I don't even know what's the Orcish word for viscosity.
Unga bunga water thick.
Oh, Oonga Boonga water thick. Got it. Well, friends, we found a couple more little trinkets, but no more of them coins. Don't know if maybe we need to press on a little further. Maybe
Yeah,
find
should
this.
be careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
We might have to.
I mean, we're at least 500 miles away from where we were earlier.
And not a tree in sight, so we can't just teleport out.
This maybe it might be a good idea to have water breathing on us, since we might be able to go under the ocean. It'd be horrible if like a window burst and we drowned.
Yeah. No, my mixing no AOEs.
Or you could just does anyone have that magical mumbo jumbo?
No, I can just breathe water all the time. Like, but just get on my level, Ace.
I can hold my breath for 30
I can give
minutes.
myself a
Do we still have those bladders that Gale made? Also, like, I see you. One day you won't see me. Get on my level.
Can we call them lungs instead?
They were
I don't
literally
like breathing
bladders.
through a blanket.
Then get good at water.
Better than you are at water.
Okay, so I guess we're just gonna hope that no one blows things up. Cool.
Oh yeah, what's that amulet do? I guess trinket that we found. Oh yeah, leg wrap.
Yeah. Stockings.
Do we have Gil's backpack if a window breaks?
I like the name of these leg wraps.
Shiguchi. You know, I keep forgetting that we're all wearing the boots from the Feywild.
Oh my god, those leg wraps are incredible, and they're not attunement.
Those are
What?
cool. Well,
Yeah, they're really good.
Those are really
Oh my
nice.
god.
once per week though. Imagine cramming some more science in there.
And then making them attunement, thus worthless.
Gucci's good.
There's a limit. You gotta find a happy medium. Like I did a similar thing with my cloak. I got unlimited dashes with it, and it's not attunement.
Can I only teleport across the ground, or can I?
Or is it
teleport
attunement?
upwards?
I forget. Really cool. I like it.
You move so fast. You nothing personnel kid someone.
30 feet. My dash
should-
is 120.
It should probably go to someone who needs mobility and gets a lot out of.
Yes, as dope as it is, I have great movement, and I
Advantage.
can just give myself advantage anyway, so it doesn't really do that much for me.
Maybe.
I don't want
moat?
it or need it. I'm just saying it's really cool.
Yeah, it seems like a moat sort of item to me. So you could come and clutch with that to get a good smite off now and then.
I mean, I'm never going to turn down teleports an advantage, but I'm not going to take it from somebody else if they want it.
I think we should give it to Patches.
Patches it is.
We
I-
don't.
I think the best people would be Moat, Flick, or maybe Gale, but I don't think Gale or I want to be near anyone.
Toto needs the back boots to match the front arms.
I don't care who attunes to this fire opal amulet, but somebody needs to because it's great for people to use on me.
Are we still using the new attunement system you made?
No, reverted.
Okay. I never really took advantage of it anyways. So.
Same.
I mean, that necklace seems like an Elise item. That's just a healing necklace right there.
Oh, you got a necklace on.
Yeah, we just throw it on Elise.
I kind of agree.
But I feel like, I don't know, Flick, do you like being up close and personal? I know that you do a lot of blasting, typically.
So, I mean, if I have advantage, my stabby stabs would be better, probably.
True.
Yeah.
I just know that you're pretty fast. Comparatively
Can you
to
wear
most.
this, Nordo, or are you fully...
Well, I'm all attuned up, and also I would be utterly wasting the whole second half of the item because I don't have any healing spells.
Oh, that's fair. Gosh, here's the thing. I can attune to it. I'm not really attuned to anything crazy. Like, I have the bracelet that gives me psychic knives.
We could always just give it to Yule
I
for
feel
today.
like yeah, you can wear it for
Yeah,
now.
You'll can wear it. I don't think Yule has many attuned things, so...
These are
She
like
slips
leg
back
wraps.
into her
Is Yule
gauntlet.
even leveled up to our level?
Level 20, so
Yule
I
has
guess-
always been level 20 the entire
I
time.
get sleep experience.
Hey, Grandma, last time I saw you, I think you were
Well-rested experience.
drawing cards from a magic deck, and then we never saw you again. In
Ah.
your dreams or something.
It just happens. It's an old person thing.
But yeah, if
Well.
anyone wants leg wraps, I'm assuming they fit inside these shoes. Oh, look, they do.
Fair enough. Let's say we can parse it all out a little bit later, too. Maybe figure out what's going on here first.
That works for me.
But someone ought to put them on for now. Just take a second.
Do they conform to any size? But this is not attunement. There you go.
There's like an ace bandage, and I just wrap them around my legs, and it just works. Okay.
I will, once everybody's ready, sort of lead the way forward.
I'm already ahead of you.
I'll stay very close to Ace and try to be slightly ahead of him in case something attacks us while he's in front with his 9 health.
Is it darkness over here? And I just turned straight up invisible. All right, I'm gonna keep an eye out for traps and whatnot. My passive perception is 23. I've eaten for a while. And then I'm also doing this stealthily.
Can my angel also go ahead? Not like super ahead, but just close enough to help. It's gonna die in one hit, so it might as well lead the way. I do not think it
Yeah,
does.
I'm trying to do this
Flavor-wise,
stealthily.
yes, but like mechanically, no. So
I'm trying to run ahead stealthily since I can move at like full speed stealthily.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's horrible.
This Spotify page is really good, Nardo.
Thanks.
It's very dungeony.
Can I check the doors? All right. So you said the second floor is just a repeat of this one. All right. I guess we'll continue. You said okay. Do we want to check these doors, guys? Or should we just keep moving forward?
I think it's worth checking in if there's going to be more stuff in there. Maybe more of these coins, or at least stuff that was left behind.
Yeah.
Granted, if there's going to be more slimes, may not be worth the trouble. But
I pick the coin and hold it up to the door and see what happens. Cool.
friend, no man, could you ask Rax again where he found this coin? I missed that part of the story.
Oh, he does so. Oh. Gotcha. So it's perhaps picking up these coins summons monsters?
Yeah,
Or
keep that.
it's simply it was waiting for someone. He sends his thoughts over to Nordo.
That's good to know. Bottom line, I know we got business to talk with Deep Mother about, but I'm mostly interested in finding these ship
Yeah.
parts, and if they could be in one of these rooms, I'd like to keep looking and see.
All right. We can kind of do it the whole stealthy approach. And just
Right.
open one door at a time. That way, if we do have run into slimes, we can just kill them quickly as a group.
I
Yeah.
ain't so great at the stealthy part, but I'm real good at pulling them levers. I can stand outside, open the door, and close it again real quick if start getting heated in there.
How close are the rest of us following? We should probably move our tokens. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of ran back. I kind of ran back to talk to them though. Kind of report back.
And I'm sorry, I went to AFK there very briefly. You said we went up the stairs, and there's just basically more hallways with more of these rooms to the side.
Well, let's check one of the doors out and see what we see.
Ooh. Here's a
Yep.
question. Do you think any of these rooms have more magic items? And can Vasu just dash in and out? And then we shut
Yes.
the door.
That's sort of
behind
my
us?
thinking. Is I'll open the
Yeah.
door, somebody run in real quick, grab what they can, and come out.
Yeah.
If Leah's ship parts in one of these chambers, I sure would hate to just walk past it.
Ooh, yes, Vasu. Use your speed.
Vasu, use your speed, and you're flying. This is what you were born for.
Speed, flying, and detect magic.
Speed,
And your
flying, and
magic
detect
eyes.
magic.
Your
Vasu.
monk eyes.
Vasu, uppies.
Right, somebody give me their bag of holding so I can just stuff everything in there.
Cool. Yeah, it's perfect.
Mine might get full.
God damn it, Gale, you were right. This place is just full of treasure.
Let's
Kinda
hope
into
so.
it. I'm glad we decided to come here.
Were we in the lowest part? Did he send us to the lowest part?
I
What does
think
that
so.
mean?
It means we're gonna be climbing upward for a while.
Are we the worst or are we the least sinful? I don't understand what they mean by this.
We're in the 9th layer of hell.
Let's start with bottom right. Nordo coming up, and first
Yeah.
start by just like looking into the window and see if he sees obvious fuck off signs. Okay.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Basically.
I don't know if Discord picked up on it. Did I see anything peeking through the windows with detect magic before we opened the doors? Gotcha.
Nice. No, I just imagine you cartwheeling all over the place.
Then Light couldn't even lay a hand on me, baby, and I spiked the box into the floor like a football.
It explodes.
Can I try to catch it as he throws it at the ground? Faster, there was glass in there.
How was I supposed to know? It didn't even say for
Do
G
not
and nothing
throw
on the
anything
outside.
you
Throw it on
grab.
the ground anyway.
I switched to
I
Vasu's
did.
mom's voice. Vasu Diva.
Do that.
I am very disappointed.
It's a supreme healing potion and it was lost to us. I was like, oh no.
Is it locked? All right, let's hope this doesn't explode. I just open it and kind of take a peek inside.
What? 6?
There were 6 bottles in here.
Were.
This is like a dice set.
Just roll above a 10 each time. It'll be fine.
Nordo, I don't know if you heard, but he spiked this box that he got, and there's lots of glass in it.
Hey! Only 3
I
broke.
got excited.
Can I take a taste of the
Seem to be
spilled
the
one
same.
to identify what it is? So how many of them broke?
Oh, thank
Gotcha.
goodness.
Wait. Cast mending, hurry, before all it spills out.
Ooh.
Now, Vasu, use
Can
your
I-
water.
can
Do your
Yeah, I
avatar
was about
thing.
to ask, can I waterbend this stuff out of the felt?
Can I gather the dust and add it to my collection
Gross.
of slimes? I have a growing collection of weird substances and residues.
Of what?
From active.
Oh.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's really good.
I would absolutely be the one to fuck up a DC5 con save,
Yep,
though.
samesies, brah.
How can you do fuck up for fun?
Actually, I don't know if I could.
I could on a 1 or a 2.
Oh, that makes
I
sense.
can't.
I can't fail either.
I could fail on like anything.
Oh,
lower
I
than a
could. I
4.
could fail that so hard.
How many potions can you drink
Do they
of
stack?
from active?
Oh,
Can
or
you just-
until you drink another
What?
potion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We can't just dump it all in Gale's mouth, for example. Well, like we succeeded.
Yeah.
What if you just like squirrel
Alright,
cheeks
right,
one of them and saves it for later?
Should we check out another door? Vasudeva? This time, maybe
Yes,
no spiking.
It was pretty cool.
Right.
It was a cool spike, and you did an amazing job. But
Did you see that backflip I did too?
I did. I was actually really impressed. I
Don't
gave you a
dance
golf
on the
clap.
logo. Just go in and get out. It's an NFL
spiking.
reference.
Here,
Yes,
and I
no
pull out an
appreciation
empty
for
vial.
showmanship.
I pull out an empty vial. You can throw this on the ground when you get back.
Okay, thank you. Vasu, no showboating.
Also,
Can I have
question, Vasu.
Shu has advantage on perception. Can I just have him like perching on my shoulder as I'm checking these out in case he notices anything that I don't?
Question:
Cool.
Couldn't we just go into this middle area and then just peek in through this window? I mean, can slimes open doors? So you could just. Does it open them or just unlock them? Okay.
Definitely doing a backflip on that one. Now, when you say they don't seem to contain anything, do you mean there's like nothing in there? Because I'm not just looking for magic stuff. Yeah, that makes sense. The slimes. Dirty, dirty slimes.
The last
Those
acrobatics check is
Filthy,
really.
naughty slimes. Sorry.
Your last acrobatics is really cool, so I do throw you a vial so you can smash it on the ground.
Oh, thank you.
If you get glass on your feet, I'm not picking it out.
We have shoes.
Look at you.
I've got
fancy
3 of
shoes,
them.
I say while I'm also wearing shoes. It could stick through the bottom.
I mean, it's a vial.
Shoe has shoes. That is the only sentence that Shu says out loud that everyone can ever understand the whole campaign.
Shu says there's some difficulty hearing you, Vec. Yeah, just Vec specifically. It's kind of important because you're setting the scene for everyone.
Well, all right then. Thanks for looking, Master Diva.
Excellent work.
Yeah, no problem. Sorry I broke one of the potions. I just, I got
That is
excited.
okay. 4 out of 5 stars.
I think it'd be more like 5 out of 6 stars. Someone as literal as you.
Exactly. I do not actually know how the star rating system works. How do you measure worth with stars? Use numbers.
Actually, don't even.
You know, I always thought using a 5-star scale was pretty weird because there's like way more than 5 stars up there in the sky.
Oh yes.
Like if you were like rating me on like my knowledge of astronomy, you said, "Oh, you got 2 stars," I'd be like, "Fuck you, man! I know way more stars than that."
With the orcs, we didn't really.
I feel
measure
like if
things
you're just
with-
gonna limit it to 5 or something on a scale, it's got to be something bigger and like more profound.
like
I don't know.
Reese.
Maybe something that also isn't a indiscernible distance away that we'll never be able to see or touch, and by the time we actually see it, it might already be dead. What I'm
Just
saying is, I
like
think it's a
visiting
very thing to
friends.
rate something after. Sorry, I'm rambling.
It is alright. You have very specific interests.
I'm gonna head for the stairs.
Alright, you start to make your way up the stairs in the same formation as before, presumably. Ace continuing to be at the stealthy lead, and go ahead and give me a stealth check and a perception check, Ace.
Can do.
Who wants Saul to hold on to a traumatic healing potion? I know like Nordor gets one.
Yes,
I can
will
heal,
hold
so
one.
I'm fine.
Seems like maybe.
I think Moat should hold on to. You can heal, but you should probably hold on to one in case you're knocked out.
Yeah, I'll take one. And then I was honestly thinking maybe Elise,
Because
so
yeah,
our healer
if-
doesn't
we don't want
accidentally
Elise to ever
die.
Go down.
Well, it seems like it's a potion that you. Never mind. You're right.
Probably Gale, Elise, me.
I mean, we could probably hand out. Almost everyone could probably have one. And
There's
then
only
just,
5.
just
I know,
fine.
but
Think-
like we give it to
Should we
5
give
people.
all 5 to Yule and just call it a night?
Yeah.
So we just exclude like
Can never
Nomad
die.
and Vasu, or Ace is never in danger. Although when he is in danger, he's in
Oh wait, now that you think
danger.
about it, Vasu is always getting
Boss is
Yeah,
always
Vasu's
getting
always getting
pounded
snaked
into the dirt.
But the thing
What?
is, you should give it to someone who's not going to use their action to attack, because Vasu's never going to just drink the potion on his own.
Well, in theory, we drink this potion like before we walk into a dungeon because we know it's
Yeah.
going to be squirrely. You don't use this in combat.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
That's fair.
At least that's what I'm going to do with mine.
Yeah, like we take them now and then.
Yeah, this is good for this dungeon now. Actually, is there a time
sure.
limit?
And then
when it
just
runs
make sure
out?
you don't drink any
8
other
hours.
potions
8
to heal
hours.
yourself while this thing is still up. You're just
8
wasting
hours.
it.
Yeah, I think we should probably have people drink this now.
Yeah, for sure. I'm feeling pretty confident about this place. I'm going to hold on to mine. I think I'm going to need it when we go for the company.
Hey, Nordo, just a quick question out of curiosity. How many attunement slots are you maxed out on?
I got them all tuned, my friend.
Anybody got a free attunement slot and worried about their well-being?
Constantly.
Caleb
Here, you
places
could-
back at the
don't
dragon
laugh.
following us around.
It's
No, that's here. You can hold on to this for now. I don't have any room for it, and I take off the bracer that I made or that I had, and then I put like a better purple still stone in, and I pass it over to Gale.
Oh, feck! I literally just realized I have the what do you call that? The cloak instead of the bracers attuned.
Cloak instead of bracers. What you mean?
The psychic.
Speaking
psychic
of
dagger.
bracers, I don't
Oh,
I don't
right,
know
gotcha.
if I can like make an item like pop up for everybody like you can, Feck, but I'm passing Gale the bracers of Deathsbane that I made.
Oh, excellent.
Or
Yeah.
that I had Nomad make for me, I should say.
We can say you made it. It was your idea after
I
all.
helped.
Yeah, I would not have
I
made
picked-
it if you didn't decide.
I did the wire wrapping on the stone that has no effect at all over its magical capabilities,
actually
but it sure
does.
looks pretty.
Shh. Did we put the shackles that Gale gave me somewhere?
Let's see. Those are just dimensional shackles, right?
Just PHP standard.
Sick. I don't think I've made a card for them because it's one of his like infusion things. But I can make one real quick just as a reminder of who's got it.
Yeah. They work as the item intends, right?
So exactly as written.
Also, how much time has passed since we summoned our minions?
You guys spent a decent amount of time, but you went quick. The whole point was to go quick. I would say probably 30 minutes have passed since combat. As you
That's
guys
fine.
explore the remaining rooms, gather your things up, heal up, talk to the dragon. Actually, let's make it 40 minutes as you go through the 4 rooms up top looking for magic items. So you got about 20 minutes left.
20 minutes, yeah.
Since we're item swapping, Ace, can I wear the Arcturus suit again if you're not wearing it?
He just went AFK.
Son of a bitch.
He says he gave it back to you already.
Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure. I thought he did, but
Yeah. For posterity's sake.
All right, Ace, leading the way. You find yourself in a 3rd floor that appears to be identical to the first 2. There are chambers on the left and the right. You can see that there are 2 up ahead, and then a stairwell continuing up. However, with your perception check of a 25, you can see that in the hallway, halfway between the 2 doors closest to you and the 2 doors farther in, there appears to be kind of a big metal plate about the size of a sewer cover. And in the middle of that little metal plate, there is an indentation about the size of the coin that was given to you by Roxanne Parandi.
All right. I don't see any like hidden illusions or anything.
With True Sight, nope, nothing appears to be illusory, nothing like that.
You have a nice little mouse chirp noise to notify Nomad.
What were you notifying me of?
Hello, just so you connect with me.
Connect.
Caca, caca.
Hear the Skype sound.
Looks like there's a sewer grate with the coin. Oh, or we might be able to put that coin lens thing.
Oh, one of those lenses. I informed the rest of the group. Perhaps we should get ready for battle?
I don't see anything, but that doesn't mean that the thing is nearby. Roughly how high have we gone up? Have we gone up enough for me to where I think that person I sensed was at?
You get the sense that each floor is probably about 30 to 35 feet. They're pretty tall climbs each way. And you
So
would know
it's still like
that
maybe
probably,
2 more floors, maybe?
Probably on the next one you imagine would put you pretty close. Although I gave you more information than I should have. I forgot it's only granular to a mile. So you're not really entirely sure.
Gotcha, yeah. Okay, cool.
What is the range on your True Sight, by the way?
120 feet.
What? Who gave you that?
Well, I forget the guy's name, but
Okay.
Timothy Piers,
he also had a lot of sex toys
the Watcher.
because he watches people.
And he had a boat that he never told Philo about, and I'm still mad.
He lived on the fucking moon.
maybe if
glad
you
I
hadn't
shot
killed
him.
him, he would have been able
Glad
to tell
I
you about
did.
it.
He held out on a cool boat for me, and he knows that's all I want in this world. Never liked that guy.
Can I take a quick look into these rooms and just verify that they look similar to the ones before? Nothing unexpected in the rooms.
Yep, absolutely. I do need to stop though because something does happen as you guys begin to pour out into here. Ace, as you're pushing forward, you do hear something. and kind of it seems to be coming from far above you, in the recess of kind of this central chamber. I need to pull you over to the map real quick for this to make sense. Hang on, let me just pull a map up. There's Nomad. Okay. All right. As you guys are making your way up the stairwell, Ace kind of stops and at this point points out that up ahead he can see what appears to be kind of a plate in the middle of this circular area, leading about halfway to the doors at the far end of the hallway. However, as he gets a little bit closer and can start to see around the lip and up to the ceiling of this circular dome area, kind of looking past the edge of the hallway leading into it, you can see movement. What appears to be something large and either this like ghastly chalky white color. What it kind of looks like a giant lobster leg or something like that, or possibly a massive spider. And you're able to spot it even though it kind of pulls back and seems to be getting ready to do some sort of a pounce or an attack.
Can I like throw my hunter's mark on it as a bonus action? It's already cast.
Yeah.
So I just have it chilling.
Sure. And since you're up front, we can kind of have you do that before anything else gets started. But this thing tries to get the jump on you. You spot it ahead of time so nobody is surprised. But all of you watch as suddenly, springing down from the ceiling ahead of all of you, is what appears to be a very long-legged, enormous, ghostly white crab. However, all along the back of its shell, there are these almost volcano-like dimples that are filled with these little pores. And you can see that there is this kind of bright red, awful acrid smelling smoke that is kind of just pouring out of these pores. And it looks to you, at first just kind of clacking and silently tilting its head back and forth to assess all of you. But then you can hear this kind of crackling, bone-snapping noise as it begins to shake and twist. And you can see that right between its two normal eye stalks, a third eye suddenly kind of breaks free in the center of its face. And you can see that it has this big yellow iris with this triple-pointed iris in the very center of it, familiar to some of you, especially Flick. And you hear a voice in your minds, and it speaks to all of you and says, "Steel thyself, sons and daughters. My presence endangers us all, but there is much to learn."
Just to let you know, I am wearing the skull that makes aberrations up. Is it aberrations or just mind flares?
I thought it was just mind flayers, but if not,
It's just
Mind
flares.
I think it's just mind flares. Never mind. Okay, never mind.
all right.
False alarm.
But as quickly as it appeared, the crab begins to shake violently, and this eye is forced to retract away, sealed away as if it was never there. And this thing begins to kind of spit and charge in your direction.
Why is your mom trying to kill us, Flick?
She's not. She's back in Seattle.
No, I mean your deep daddy or deeper baby.
No, God. I don't think she's trying to kill us. She's testing us. I don't know. I don't know how gods work, dude. Dude's not a word I'd use. That's not a word. I don't know.
So, must we fight this thing to prove our worth?
I mean, I've kind of wanted crab legs for a while. Look how many legs this thing has.
Yeah, I'm kinda
Alright,
hungry.
Choice.
We'll get you the crab legs.
I was hoping to eat some of that.
Crabs
king
are not
bear
known
we
for the
fought.
diplomacy.
It did say its presence was a danger to us all, so I feel like
We should kill it.
maybe we should-
It did also tell us to steal ourselves, and if that isn't a threat, I don't know what is.
Steal like the metal, or steal like we rob,
I don't think I'd imagine steal like the metal.
pilfer.
No, the steel, like spelled like the metal, but different meaning. Needs to
Metaphors.
to prepare yourself.
Telling us
I
to
always
get
thought it
hot
was
and
kind
get
of
ready.
literal, and it's like, get your weapons out, you're gonna die, but also,
My one weakness.
yeah, I don't know.
Basically just told us, come at me, bro. And I'm going to come at it real hard.
Excellent.
Steel thyself, Aragorn.
I'm going to get my tongs. I'm going to get some hot butter.
Rex and Prindy is going to kind of just retreat down the stairs and take the dodge action. Flick, first to act.
Crab legs.
Okay, now I do too.
Get you some crab legs. I haven't had crab in a very long time.
Me either.
It's been a while. There was crab in that anime yesterday. Now there's a giant crab here. It's just
Is this
tiny crab.
anything like the giant enemy crabs? If you hit, does it crit?
The 17 is kind of careened off sideways of the hard shell of this crab. However, like Luke Skywalker, spoilers for Star Wars, by the way, if anybody's not seen Star Wars, like Luke Skywalker firing a torpedo down a chute in the middle of the Death Star, you fire 2 of these Eldritch Blasts, and then you do a sick bullet curve, and you kind of send them straight into 2 of these pores. And there is this massive eruption of blood from inside, as it seems to be vulnerable to the damage dealt by those 2 that did hit the first 2 blasts.
Yep. It's the same crab enemy that turns up.
It's a Titanic enemy crab.
Well, that's neat.
Oh no, it has a lot of HP.
Feck. Question for the lore of this world.
Yeah.
Which is inarguably a sci-fi franchise. It was actually a long time ago in a place far, far away. Was it before the events of this campaign?
What a wonderful question. We'll come back to it later.
Birds of the Skywalker? No, it is an important question. I feel like we should talk about it right now.
There's a rules as written spell that could transport us to the Star Wars universe. Just saying.
Yeah.
There?
Somebody should try
Yep,
it.
we
Yeah.
can post it right now.
Somebody should try it and see what happens.
We need a lightsaber to do it, though. So
Yeah.
do.
we
I don't
need
want
find
to.
Lightsaber. Vasu, you are the Skywalker in this term.
All right. Anything else?
I
Flick?
just fly.
Where am I at on the map? No, I'm good.
All right. That brings us to Ace.
Alrighty, I'm gonna put back up over here. I'm going to use my bonus action real quick to look around the area and see if there's any other enemies.
All right. Give me a perception check. Taking a look around, you don't spot or hear any signs of additional enemies, including through the portholes of the 2 doors here. No, nothing obvious that you can see.
All right, and is this an aberration or?
It certainly looks like it. Yeah.
I only have to know because if I have to add damage.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
Thank you.
Say that anything with more than 2 eyes is an aberration, or is that racist?
Often. You fire
So-
an 18, and the arrow.
So I have Evan accuracy, so it's 16 plus
Oh, that's
10,
right.
so I have 26.
26 does land. You're able to find a spot right at the base of its eye stalk, which is very vulnerable, and it takes double damage. 26 up to 52. Another 19 to 38. All right. Anything else?
I have one more attack.
For another 24. All right. Anything else?
There's a tentacle coming out from the wall.
It's a flictical.
It's probably I don't want to get in people's way. It's probably just stay where I'm at.
All right. Then, at the end of your turn, it is going to use a legendary action. And it is going to rear back, open its jaws, and begin kind of spinning this bright orange ball of goop, which it then fires towards you guys, and it splatters in a big area across the ground.
Is that a giggle?
It's a thanks, I hate it.
Oh,
Yeah, that makes sense.
let's make that a thing. Can we get you a shirt?
That's like the
Can they
name of
put
the
it in the shirt?
subreddit, isn't it?
Is it?
I actually wasn't aware that
think
there was
so.
a subreddit for it.
Oh, it's a wonderful subreddit.
Excellent.
Oh,
Didn't even know there was an acronym for it.
give me a link. I need
Here,
to
I
go
thought I wasn't really an internet person, and all you internet people didn't know about it.
through- We don't Reddit.
What's
Often.
what's the orcish word for teeth?
Internet savvy than all of us combined, and you're a father of two.
It's true.
Um,
The orcish word
Strange
for
time to be
teeth?
alive.
I am going to post what this does as soon as Roll20 cooperates.
Sarcastic gratitude. It offends me.
There we go. So this area becomes coated with this kind of slippery mucus. It becomes difficult terrain, it remains on the ground, and also I need a dexterity saving throw from anybody caught in that initial blast. So Flick, Moat, Ace, and Nordo.
Okay. I think I get like advantage because it's my greater of immunity.
That is very possible.
As long as it's an aberration, that is correct, I believe. Or maybe that's only against spells.
I think it has abilities too. I could be wrong.
Flick is fine.
Okay.
You do find yourself coated in this sticky whatever it is.
I don't know if I'm dyslexic or just stupid, but when I scrolled down the screen and saw that crab for the first time, I read its name as Titanic Pale Porous Assy Crab. I just thought I should share that with all of you.
Perfect.
Ass crab.
I no longer wish to consume the crab.
Ass crabs sound like a horrible new sexually transmitted disease.
Philo, please.
Oh no. See, I was
So
gonna-
we're really
figured
into the
it.
body
I
horror
don't
and generally
want
grossing everybody out in this campaign, so I thought I should pitch in my 2 cents.
All right.
Ass crabs.
That brings us to Nomad's turn.
Wait, what happened?
There is this.
Your voice apparently disappeared from stream.
That square is difficult to read.
Last I checked, it was working.
Okay, cool.
Unless no, I don't see
that-
anything new over there.
Yep, that could be something else.
Okay.
Oh, it's my turn.
It's Nomad's turn.
Oh yeah, the spirit. First of all, I guess moves fucking up to 40 feet and just stands here. And it's kind of flying in the air.
Alright.
So it would block this thing if it comes close. But it dies. It doesn't have a range of 10 feet to hit, I believe, right? It's just 5 feet.
I think so. Yeah.
Is this actually 5? Actually, I think they're within. It's within attacking range.
Yeah. So assuming it's taking up 3 spaces, these 3 spaces,
Yeah.
then it is. Yeah.
It's large, so it's just gonna attack twice. This is the final attack of the angel.
All right.
Go, my angel. Fuck, where is it? Oh, there it is. Radiant. Here's the first one. 22.
Also, I just realized that Yulin patches aren't on auto initiative.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
right.
Let me throw them on real quick.
yeah.
I was actually just about to say that I have to get going. So
Oh,
Oh, okay.
that works out perfect then. Thank you for stopping by.
Thanks
very
for
briefly.
Checking
stepping
up
in.
on us, Grandma. Love you.
Bye.
bye.
Have a great night.
Grandma,
Bye.
see you next Christmas
See-
night.
Enjoy
see
your
y'all.
coma.
Up the chimney and
Please
disappear.
don't die.
I'll see y'all when I wake up in about 6 months.
Well, dream of good things. And it gets temp HP 7, and then its second attack. 29.
29 and 22 both get through.
Yeah, and it gets 7 temp HP.
Excellent. All right. Anything else?
I will fly up 10 feet. Up into the air, I guess. Up to here.
Okay.
Can I see it now that I'm 10 feet higher?
So, the way that these stairs are angled, like before, it's a very sharp climb. You can probably see, like, the bottom of it. Like, you can see it well enough to target a spell, but it has
sorry.
a lot of cover.
I see the icon now. I activated my fly less than an hour ago, so that's selective. I can actually move 30 feet.
Perfect.
And I'll go up to here. In the air area so people can walk by me without problem.
Alright.
And I'm gonna cast a spell at it. It's just gonna be this. He puts a hand in front of him, draws like a circle, and this just purple electricity arcs between his fingers, and he shoots it out. The bolt of purple lightning. Where the fuck are you? There you are. It misses.
Yep, unfortunately it goes flying off the side of one of its claws.
It blinks off the armor.
Alright, anything else?
That's it.
Alright,
I am above, so people can just walk over.
perfect. At the end of your turn, it's going to use a legendary to take a claw attack on your spirit.
My poor spirit.
22
Oh,
for
that's
16.
it. Let me see. 7 is 14. It just fades from existence.
Alright, there's a burst of light and it returns to whence it came. Nordo's up.
Okay. How much space does this thing occupy? Specifically, can I go into this space, or is it in those spaces?
Let's see. How big is this fucker? It takes up that much space, so you can go around to the edges, yeah.
Okay, terrific. Nordo's going to go charging down the hallway, trampling through the sticky mucus at first. And as he does, he'll draw his axe, and a giant spectral bear will appear sort of superimposed over him. He'll let out a big monstrous bear roar, and I will hope to God that this thing is not immune to frightened. Excellent.
It seems to be frightened of you.
Fantastic. As Nordo gets to the end of the hallway, the sort of spectral bear kind of lashes out of this thing. It doesn't actually do anything, but frightens it. And then Nordo will sort of begin to back away. I will use a bonus action to, as I'm stepping away with the bear still sort of growling, I'll slam my foot down into the ground and open up a fissure underneath this thing. Excellent.
Oh no.
Restrained and frightened. And I've still got enough movement to step one more space away from it. I'm probably still in this range, but I'll end up right there.
Alright, yep, you are still just within its reach. But it is now restrained and afraid. That'll
Cool.
bring
That's
us
my action.
to...
Bonus action. It's my turn.
Alright, that'll bring us to Elise. She's kind of stuck back here. She's going to move up and ready an action to dash when there is some movement for her to get up in there. Which brings us to this guy who's afraid and therefore has disadvantage. But let's see what's he got. Okay. Keeping his eyes locked on you, Nordo, out of fear and this kind of just primal respect. It seems very kind of intimidated by you and everything that you've done to it, and it's struggling to pull its claws free. But the first thing that does is it begins to shake all over, and then it starts to just emit this bellowing whistle, like a deep train whistle, as this red fume begins to pour out from its several pores along its back, and this gas begins to creep along the ground, spreading rapidly, like steam from a locomotive, filling the chamber. And I need all creatures within 60 feet, so let's see how far back that goes.
That's buddy.
Sick. That's buddy. So I need buddy to give me a Constitution saving throw, or be poisoned until the end of your next turn. You were looking for...
fuck you.
You were looking for an 18.
Oh, so close. My dog should come.
Could
I'm
I
within moat
use
range.
my...
So I have 8. Exactly 18.
What does Moat give us?
+5.
That's 5.
Can I use my inspiration to reroll?
You sure can if you want.
That's even worse. Okay.
The first thing that you guys notice is this sharp, almost gasoline-like smell that fills your nose and then your lungs, and then it begins to burn. Those of you who failed to save, your eyes begin to water, your nose itches, your face starts to kind of swell bright red. You're poisoned until the end of your next turn. But then things begin to get a little bit more serious. As the cloud of red begins to roll its way across to the sticky orange goo spread across the ground, that goo suddenly erupts.
Oh, where's the area of that?
Oh boy, that's a whole lot.
That is the orange square that Flick, Moat, and Ace are currently standing in.
I don't see the orange square.
I see it.
Oh, I don't see it. Where is it?
It's right around. It's like here. I'll
Let me
draw it too.
refresh. I might not.
You can say it could be
Yeah,
a
I was
client side
gonna
thing.
Yeah, it might be up my side. I don't know
Jesus,
if I'm on.
I'm rolling horribly.
That's
Do
just,
real bad.
just quite a lot of damage.
So notably, this might actually work maybe better for Moat, but I can't tell. So Flick and Ace need to give me dexterity saving throws against 63 points of fire damage. Half as much damage on an 18, so Flick takes half, and I think that's... I don't remember how much rogue you have. Ace fails and takes the full
not
63 points of fire.
I have. I think I have. What's the thing
I
called?
think you just got evasion. Based
I have
on, like, last
evasion.
level.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Then Ace, you take half even though you succeeded, or even though you failed. So that is only 31 points for you, Ace.
Could I use my Does that use my reaction
Does
for
not.
evasion? Or
Totally
nope,
free.
anything else?
That's not.
So if you use absorb elements, that would bring it down to 15 instead.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about doing. I was gonna do that.
Oh, good. Good job.
And then Moat, I think you already took it and you're just resistant to fire damage. But because you were coated in this sticky goo, you actually don't get a dex save. Instead, you make a con save at disadvantage, but I think it works out the same for you.
Okay, tight. Is it still fire damage for absorb elements?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So that is the very first thing that it does, and then it's going to take some disadvantage swings at the thing it's very afraid of. Nomad, or Nordo, these are both on you at disadvantage. Oh my goodness.
Christ, that disadvantage to
Say one hit instead of a crit. I like that.
Alright, it is continuing to kind of struggle to pull itself free of these crevices that have been made around its legs, but that is its turn. That brings us to Vasu.
Okay. I exhale
Was the square
and
gone?
force all of the poison out of my pores and lungs, and then I'm going to just fucking straight up dash at this guy, and I'll use my cloak dash if I have to get past all this flaming bullshit. I'm gonna fly up and start wailing on this crab.
I kind of love the mental image of Vasu, like, cool kid vape blowing all of this bright red smoke out like it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like one of those Gatorade commercials where they sweat blue, but it's less gross because I just breathe it out in a big vape cloud.
Yeah.
I'm like, ha, you nerd, you
Glad
can't
I'm not the only
poison
person who
me.
thinks those commercials are gross
They're
as
real
fuck.
gross.
Really gross.
26 is good for...
I hate everything about them.
19
I don't want to sweat
38.
Gatorade. 26 hit?
It sure does, and it's an easy crit, because this thing is pinned. Find its massive weak point.
It's pinned too, but I'm gonna need it to make a con save.
How does Moat consistently roll like a 1?
It's my forte.
It really is incredible.
And it's stunned.
Oh
Like,
my
even with
god.
no dex bonuses, you should at least roll. It's a 20-sided dice. How do you keep getting lower?
Hey, Fact,
Uh-huh.
I have to ask, how annoying is it playing with a party of 2 monks? Because
So,
I do
like-
feel bad about it
I'm
sometimes.
I'm more upset at 5e's design on crowd control than you guys. Like, you guys are just doing what you should, and it's great and it's fun, and I enjoy when you guys succeed.
Yeah.
What I do find unusual and a little bit disheartening is that I've been rolling like Drake for the past 3 weeks, and like all of these monsters have had like plus 12s to their con scores,
Look
and
at that.
they,
Plus 11 con.
yeah,
It sucks. It's hard to DM when you're me.
it's crazy. Like, if this is
I
what
feel
Drake
bad
is
for
feeling
both
for
of
all
you.
the time. But no, it's totally fine. He got a big spit off.
Done.
And I'm
So
pretty
I'm
happy
just
with
gonna
it.
make these. It's stunned, so I'm gonna make these next 3 weapon attacks at advantage.
Excellent. They already work because it's restrained, but now they're extra advantage. 22 slams in for 28. A crit slams in
Oh,
for
baby.
36. Oh, wait, yeah, shit. Fuck me.
So 60.
60. Holy fuck. We eating crab legs tonight. Another 10 from that.
And it's ignited and immediately takes another 5 points of fire damage. Because that was definitely more than a 20-foot dash that I made.
Oh,
The
well,
ignition count?
hang on real quick. I forgot.
Oh no.
He is totally immune to fire damage, so he's got to roll some of this back.
No.
I know, I'm so sorry. It actually looks like not much of your damage was from fire, though, this time. 12, 14.
For
We need to get some real fire damage up here, you know? Some Phoenix fire damage, not this just regular
Shut up.
fire damage.
regular avatar fire damage.
Still, though, holy fuck, that crit. I like to imagine that you kind of just find the biggest opening on its back, and just kind of crank upwards, and there's this massive split that rides all the way down the front of its shell and down between its eyes. There's this horrible, horrible cracking noise that resonates through the hallway. Anything else?
Sick. I forget because I think I passed out at the end of last session. Did we get a short rest, or am I still at 5 key points?
You guys have not had a short rest yet.
Okay, then yeah, that'll be my turn. I'll just spend the 1 for the stunning strike, and we'll be good.
All right, that brings us to Gale.
Oh, I have so many things to do.
1d8 really paid off this round.
Sounds great.
Yeah. All right. First and foremost, I'm gonna take my poisoned shots at this thing.
Oh my goodness, that might do it. Let's see.
13, 17.
Yeah, so it's just a straight roll.
Oh wait, yeah.
28, 17.
The 17 flings off, but the 28 does slam in for 34 points of piercing damage. And tell me about
Your
this poison.
damage so good. Wait, there's disadvantage?
Yeah, I'm poisoned.
Oh yeah, you're poisoned. Stinks.
Then I run over here, and Toto's gonna take a chomp.
Leaping over with you on its back, Toto just kind of goes up to the damage that has already been dealt to the shell, digs his teeth in right at the top of the forehead or the skull, and begins to pull back, kind of dragging the entire way. And there's crack after splinter, until suddenly there is just a burst of blood, and this thing goes limp on the floor in front of everyone.
Good boy.
Who's hungry?
I heal mode.
How's your mana? I'm actually okay on mana, so if I need to grab myself, I can.
Okay. I'm almost like a little above half.
Yeah, I'm at the same spot.
Let's each just use a little bit. Sound fine?
There we go. Little baby heals.
Yeah, let's do baby heals on you.
Am
Sorry,
I
my
no longer
character sheet's
poisoned?
Not loading.
As you guys are kind of making sure that everybody is okay and taking an account of everybody now that combat has kind of gone quiet, you only get a little ways in, starting to cast your first few healing spells, when you all hear, kind of deep and distant in the back of your minds, "One among you is not my child, but the cancer from above. And it treats you as equals. And within them I feel my blood. What you seek lies nearby. Fear not the abyss, favored children. Within these halls of my penance, my breath is yours."
Someone translate that into normal.
There's treasure nearby.
Do I
Let's
feel
go.
like do I feel like I can breathe water? Is that what she's trying to say?
I can be the first to check. I can hold my breath a good long time, so I guess that doesn't mean that I could
That's
go in
not
the
the
water
same.
and survive. Never mind. Nordo doesn't. No, he's got medicine proficiency. He knows that's a bad idea. That's what it sounded like to me, though. And the other thing it sounded like is that Leah's ship's close. I reckon we should look through these rooms real quick, like the ones down below.
Ace, are you harmed? Are you all right?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
I'm actually fine.
Okay.
Flick, are you, I know you don't know a whole lot about this Deep Mother other than what happened to you. Are you at all, worried about coming face to face with her? You think we should be, I don't know, ready for a scuffle? She's so intent on testing us.
Oh, I mean, I don't think so. If she wanted me dead, she wouldn't have saved me. And I mean, I've seen her in that dream with Nomad, but that felt real. I feel like if she wanted to, I could have been dead then too.
It also begs to question, as a metaphor, I do not know how things beg for question. What does she mean by one of us are not her children? Is that me?
Well, it seems like the obvious choice is you, but
That's what she
Yeah.
said
doesn't
about
mean
you
we should.
before, right?
Yeah, in the dream she said I was not
I
hers.
guess I don't know that.
What does that mean?
Are
One
you
of
from the
her
moon,
children?
Nomad? Like those other weird
Well,
guys on the
Am I
moon?
from the moon, Feck? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know.
I
Man.
mean, didn't she say that?
There's a rule. You have to tell us if you're from the moon.
I would remember if I was from the moon.
The lizard folk, they called her something different. They didn't call her the Deep Mother. They called her the mother of all, the mother of everything.
Yeah.
It sounds like she thinks that she's all of our mother of all life, maybe.
Sounds pretty
What the-
highfalutin if you ask me.
She's
She's not my ma.
She
But my
seemed-
ma could beat her up.
It's highfalutin.
She
It's
seems
like hoity-toity, a pompous.
There was just a good 10 seconds
Oh.
of silence, and you guys both
Right.
decided to talk at the same time. I guess it wasn't 10, it was like 3, but
go ahead.
What were you saying?
She seems to think that she has a hand in all evolution, and because Nomad is an aberration, and therefore, but not directly by her hand, makes sense that she would call him not her children. But since I guess, I don't know, I guess we've evolved, quote
But
unquote.
I welcome evolution and mutation and transmutation and all things change. Change is good.
Still, though, if they view you as some sort of outsider, that explains a lot. That's the bug people in their tower and that city also viewed you as an outsider, and they called you even an outsider. That was their name for your people. So for whatever reason, Deep Mother and her followers don't think of you as being part of life the way the rest of us are. I ain't saying they're right or nothing, just that seems pretty consistent. All the ones of her followers we met.
Good theory.
Anyway, what do you say we YOLO these doors open and get some treasure?
Yes, treasure, Ace.
All right.
Yeah,
You guys.
I also wanted to investigate this crab. Kind of see, like, did this seem like a normal aberration, something that was like a giant crab that was mutated recently?
Sure. Go and give me an investigation or biology. Was it medicine?
Do I get advantage on either of this for being an aberration?
Yeah. It's an aberration. You get advantage.
I will
Hey.
do a medicine.
did it cook itself? Because I can really go for some crab.
Looking it over, at first it appears to be just one of many of the aberrant monsters that comes from the sea. You've seen very similar things from the sea, from the ocean, and also down in the Underdark. However, what stands out to you with the 28 almost immediately is that the tips of this thing's claws and its legs, and also streaking up the sides of its face and its back, are these areas where it has just been turned totally pallid, like chalk. This unnatural coloring, this bright white. And you've seen this before on other aberrations several times, and it stands out to you as being present here as well.
Yeah. Another thing too that I kind of want to ask too. So, having seen this crab, those weird whale creatures, and Nomad and other aberrations, does it seem like mind flayers and the Elder Brain are like even though they're categorized as aberrations, that they're actually somehow very different from the aberrations we've been seeing that were clearly created by the Deep Mom?
They certainly don't seem to be the same. Like, mind flayers, even though they're all kind of aberrant and monstrous and weird and morphy, like, they all kind of have the same biology, whereas these things are all kind of like sea creatures that have been mutated or merged or things like that. You know, they fall within the same class, but just like a dog is different from a cat, even though they're both beasts, you know, they're two totally different creatures.
Okay, I guess. Okay, but does it seem like? I guess what I'm trying to ask is like, does it seem like they are completely foreign? Like, I know they were joking about like Nomad being from space, but is it like having like looked at and seen multiple aberrations? Does it actually seem like yes, these creatures don't really seem to have an actual connection to the other aberrations that I've seen?
They definitely don't seem to have a whole lot in common. They don't have any like evolutionary similarities. They definitely don't seem to be connected in any sort of like biological manner.
Gotcha. I mean, it's possible. I mean, Nomad, you're pretty unique. Well, and all of your race, which I guess is a parasite that.
Paradox.
What's
If
the
you will.
Orcish word for paradox? There's no way they have a word for that.
Yeah.
Bunga headache.
Yeah, there's not a word for that, Nomad, unfortunately. I could give you. It would take me 20 words to explain it in Orcish.
Just the word for impossible works.
Boonga boonga,
Right.
shake my head.
Yeah, that's about it.
Impossible.
Unga
Headache.
bunga,
You get the
fundamentally
idea.
wrong.
They definitely don't have a word for fundamentally neither. But impossible headache, that makes sense.
I know that you guys joked about, haha, let's eat crabs. But for one, I'm still kind of sick of crabs from the last crab we found. And for two, we have no way of carrying this thing.
It's been quite a while since we ate crab, but I agree.
It was
let's
like a
leave this
month
thing
ago.
here. I don't know if this meat would be all too good on account of the lava and the goop and such anyhow.
I do not even
Fair
think
die.
And look at this.
will make
I
Look
think
at
I
these-
was
good armor.
making donut nuts. I don't remember the crab at all.
Nomad, do you think this thing has a brain inside of all of its chitin?
Probably does.
Do
Most
crabs have
creatures,
brains?
They do. Crab brains are actually quite tasty, according to my parents.
I'm imagining this as Nomad.
He suddenly has
Dip
like a
them
Jimmy
in
Neutron
melted butter
brain
too.
blast and remembers his parents talking about how tasty crab brains are.
Now, little
Nomad,
remember to
dip
the crab brain
I'm sorry, that must be a different memory from within the recesses of my psyche. Who are you, strange man?
At the opposite end of this hall, is there just another staircase leading up?
There is, yes.
Anything in these?
Go ahead and we'll assume, based on the rules before, that you're able to perform this plan without any additional slimes getting to you. Let me double check a thing.
Poison go?
I just want the DM to say this. Are we assuming that it goes off without a hitch because I'm so fast and acrobatic?
It is, because you are so fast and acrobatic.
That's all I wanted to hear. Thank you.
I'm gonna slam the door on him. It's just a prank when he comes out of the last
Let me in! Let me in!
You guys do a thorough sweep of all 4 rooms. You do find that one of the rooms is completely empty. The other 3 do have a field of slime, and they form some oozes. But in all 4 rooms,
Field of slime.
you don't find any signs of magical objects. And you're able to get in, get out easily without any slimes causing you any harm. But unfortunately, nothing
Magical
on this floor.
object aside, do I see anything else?
Taking a good look around, nothing else stands out except for the slimes that occasionally try to attack you. The rooms are pretty plain, and the ooze is pretty translucent. You feel like even just like with the rolls that you've already done, you would see it if you see it.
Oh no!
I don't even know as a whole airship would fit somewhere like this.
I
Maybe
don't
there's
think.
somebody else they're sending all the treasures and such.
Well, thinking back on this, on what did they? So whenever they sent us here, they cast a spell, correct?
Yeah, it definitely looked like they were performing a magical ritual, yes. Casting a spell.
Because I'm a kinku and can perfectly mimic people, can I like mimic it and see if Nomad can get an idea of what type of magic it is?
You could mimic the hand motions, and you could mimic the vocal components that were spoken. You could potentially use that for Nomad to try to identify what was done. Sure.
Nomad, let's play charades, and I just start doing that.
He like squints.
Hadaba daba.
26.
It feels
You're
to
not supposed to
you-
talk in charades.
It's okay. That's not talking.
He's just
We're
making.
playing-
I think
the,
any mouth noises are allowed.
He makes the sound that Mumbo Jumbo makes in the original Banjo Kazooie game. Ukumbaka.
Yes.
Ikumboko.
Ikumboko. Ikumbaka. Ikumbaka.
I'm no up. Being a meme. Dude, I don't know where it's from. From Banjo Kazooie?
Christ.
If you don't think I have that shit ingrained in my memory forever,
Holy
That
you don't know me very well.
Banjo Kazooie.
Does anyone actively have like the 64 game?
I have both of them still, and I have the N64 plugged in,
I
not
never
into the wall,
played,
but not into my TV in my entertainment system right now.
I've never played the whole game. I only got to play a little bit when I visited a friend's house. I
I've
never got to.
never played
finish it.
either. I just know
Dude,
it because
those
of
are
that
so
dog
good.
girl who says Ikumbokum a lot because I love her.
Idea. Philo, send it over, and then Neo and I can take turns playing
just
it.
send it to us.
Send you my copy of Banjo Kazooie? Fuck no.
But
Fuck off with that.
Uh,
I will bring it up for whenever the next eventual friend con is, and you can play it if you want. I don't know how far you'll get in however many days that is, but I'll do it just so you can have the experience of playing
You have to-
Banjo Kazooie in your life because everybody needs that.
just stay a whole week.
as best as you can to
could do
identify
that.
the spell with the help of Ace and his performance. You're not getting any exact details because there are clearly things missing that he is not producing because he's not actually capable of producing the spell himself. But just gauging the hand motions and the components that he's able to reproduce, you get the sense that this is some sort of natural magic as opposed to arcane. It is closer to divine magic than it is to arcane magic. It seems to be very druidic in nature, and it feels similar to the scatter spell. Kind of, sort of, a little, but it is clearly not exactly that.
It's the inferior druidic version of the scatter spell.
It's something like that.
And it moved us. It moved us over 5 miles away.
It is the ability to teleport someone to very specific locations, kind of like the teleportation circle, but targeting certain people instead of making a portal.
Interesting. Okay, well, you win the prize.
But, this is just a theory. There are certain things missing. When spellcasters try to identify other spells, usually, I like to imagine the fact that there's like weird-ass runes that appear in the air or whatever. Intricate circles of magic.
Every spellcaster
That's why it's
kind of
very,
has their own
that's why it's
method
very
of accessing
specific
it.
and hard to hide.
Yeah. You would notice just based on the way that Ace reproduced it, and also because you saw it firsthand yourself.
Yeah.
It feels closer to the spellcasting that, like either a druid would do, or that Flick does, where it is kind of imparted by a natural being. In other words, it's very much not the result of arcane study. It is a gift that has been given either by nature or some entity. And you imagine that there was some sort of a supernatural force at play.
Similar to me, I give myself the gift of magic.
Oh, right, of course.
Out of sheer just morbid curiosity, how akin is it to like Nordo's weird orcish magic?
Yeah. What is
animal
Nordo's
rituals?
magic like?
Nordo's magic feels very similar to Moat's, and then it seems to come
From the inside?
It feels kind of sorcery, yeah. It feels like he has some sort of an innate connection with nature, which again feels kind of similar to this. It is a connection to the world around him.
Something in his blood.
Right, exactly. It's a very feelsy kind of connection to nature, connection to the weave. There's an innate sort of grasp that he has formed.
Maybe he's born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Goddamn sorcerers.
Maybe it's sorcery.
Nordo, while they're kind of investigating the rooms, and after you trap Vasu in with the deadly slimes as a joke, you poke your head up to the stairs, and you can see that this time the stairs only go up about 10 feet to a small platform. And from that platform, you can see that there is a glass dome that kind of goes above and around you in all directions, similar to the one where you found the young dragon. However, this time there is a metal ladder that goes straight up in the middle of the room, to the top of this glass dome, where you can see there's a little band of metal, almost like it's meant to be opened like a hatch. And looking out, you just see pure, dark bottom of the ocean blackness in all directions, except for this ladder that seems to go up through the glass, or through the glass dome, in some sort of upwards direction, but you can't really see where it goes. It goes deep into the dark, and then you lose sight of it.
Okay. As Nordo is sort of looking around that, looking at the crushing deep water all around, can I make sort of, I don't know, a retroactive insight check on whether the voice that spoke to me in my head about being able to trust it and not worrying about drowning, do I feel like I trust that voice?
Oh boy, you can give me an insight check.
Nope.
Really hard to say.
Yeah.
Gut call.
Okay.
What's up, Nomad Nordo? You seem pale.
It's just, I spent a lot of time around the ocean, kind of up on top of it, or in the shallows fishing with my pop and my sister, but ain't never seen it from all the way down here.
Yeah, it's pretty spooky. I think it's quite terrifying. If you can think about it. Crushing
It
depths, unknown spooky monsters.
Even on
No
my,
idea if you can get air.
Even on my island, we knew not to mess around too far into the ocean, because that's where big scary monsters came from.
Yeah.
Sounds like we're where they come from right now.
Is Gil's backpack like still there? Attuned and all that? The heart that makes us not die.
Oh yeah, his
that's fair.
oxygen dome.
Fortunately.
Yeah.
Would that make us float instantly to the surface?
I don't know.
I don't see much of another way out of here other than to go
Well,
out the old-fashioned way. I guess we still have to figure out what to do with that coin in that slot down there, though.
oh yeah, we can just. Oh no. The crab's in the way. Let's go explore that first.
If I can move that crab, I'm very, very strong.
He goes up.
Yes, move it.
I'm like jumping over the crab. Push it, push
Alright,
it, push it.
you
I'm on top, jumping on top of
You,
it.
Crab.
you begin to kind of turn around and go back
Move
down the
that
stairs
crab.
towards the hallway.
Crab fight. Crab fight.
And as you turn your back and begin to head back down into the hallway, Nordo, Ace, and whoever else was in that little dome, which I think Nomad was in there as well, you're all suddenly interrupted. Silently, but it appears almost so quickly and so brilliantly that it feels loud. It is this sudden, almost startling appearance of gold from behind you. Like a sun has just suddenly burst free from behind a cloud. You turn and look behind you, and you can see this giant disc of yellow, probably about 35 feet in diameter. And in the center of this disc, no more than maybe 50 or 60 feet away from you, peering into the glass dome, there is a 3-part iris that simply stares down at the 3 or 4 of you in this dome.
Does it seem to be illusionary?
True sight does not seem to reveal that it is an illusion.
Gang, maybe everybody come up here.
Sure. I'm gonna go connect with Rax and ask him to stay back safely. We've killed the giant crab, but now we're facing another big creature that maybe you've met before.
Alright, he will hang back and he kind of tucks himself around a little hallway and peeks around the corner, watching what you
Did we
do.
find any more of those weird lenses to Nomad's lens?
You guys have not spotted any more, and assuming that you take a little time to look under and around the crab, you see an indent where the coin seems to have come from. And you'll be able to confirm that with Rax. He says that that's where he picked it up from. He had to kind of fish it out with a claw. But no other signs of anything like that in any of the rooms of the hallway or anything like that.
Okay.
Almost as quickly as it appeared, there is a voice that booms through all of your heads, but especially strongly and clearly you hear it this time, Nomad. Have my children done what I could not? Curious, much to learn, much to learn.
Look, kill a crab.
My presence here is dangerous for all of us. Be quick. And as quickly as it showed up, it blinks away and pulls away and travels what appears to be hundreds of feet away from you into the dark in just the snap of a finger, and it is gone.
Oh, it's good swimmer. Good swimmer.
Did we get an idea of what its body looked like?
Looking out, even with dark vision of maybe 60 feet that some of you guys have, you can see that there is just this immense biological form that is kind of coated with this chitinous shell, not unlike a lobster or a crab or a snail or something like that. Something just maybe like a nautiloid or something like that, but clearly enormous. The range of your dark vision just kind of breaches past the edges of this massive iris that was shown to you. And then as quickly as it appeared, it disappears into the darkness, even beyond the range of your dark vision. But as you peer out in the direction that it went, there is suddenly this kind of sparkling, almost fizzing, tingling vision or sensation that you all experience at the sides of your vision. Little pinpricks of yellow, like when you rub your eyes too hard and it makes these kind of just like dots at the sides of your vision. And as you begin to look out, you start to see more clearly through the crushing blackness of the bottom of the ocean. And you begin to see shapes, fish, creatures, octopus, coral formations at the bottom of the sea, large rock formations. And over the next minute or two, all of you just feel like your eyes have been adjusted. You're able to see effectively to a range of 240 feet. Through the infinite black of the bottom of the sea.
Oh.
Ace.
I was just gonna do my ping, well, like as it swam away.
All right. You begin to kind of focus and connect with nature and try to see how much has changed within the area. And we'll come back to that in a moment. Is there anything else that anybody else? Oh, right. As your vision changes, you can see that this ladder goes up and up and up for what appears to be probably about 150 feet. Just a lonely metal ladder with barnacles and other deep sea life that have kind of become attached to it for who knows how long, until it reaches what appears to be the hole in the underside of a rock formation at the side of a big stone kind of mountainous formation near you. And it seems to go up into this hole in the bottom side of this rock formation. And you see at the end of that ladder, maybe 180 feet up, there's just a tiny little pinprick of light, of pale blue light.
Well,
What ladder? I'm sorry. Where's the ladder at? In here?
Yeah, I'll try to draw it out while you guys talk amongst yourselves real quick.
Gotcha.
Start
way
climbing,
forward,
or
we
Do-
want to put this coin back before we go, or do we?
Is that not weird, guys?
The deep
And
mother.
I like point out. Is it just me, or can you guys like see super far in the ocean?
Yeah, no, that kind of came out of nowhere. I guess it had something to do with her saying she'd protect us from the water.
Did it affect me as well?
It did.
I thought the sun just came up.
Did it affect me as well?
It did.
Is that the Flick? Is that the deep mother?
He's muted.
He's dead.
Flick dead.
Oh my fucking gosh, you fucking did. Nomad, you saw the deep mother. Was it the
Yes.
deep mother?
I think so. Was that the same entity in the dream?
Certainly looks like it, yeah.
So. Okay. But why would she let us see super far underwater? Is that what happened, do you think?
Perhaps it means we are now acclimated to the depths. You see, this far deep, the waters would crush us if we go unprotected.
True.
But that is just a theory. I do not wish to test it.
I was gonna say, acclimated or not, if we open up this here porthole and go let all that water in here, it'll kill us all one way or another.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, this ladder goes pretty high up, right? Wherever this ladder is
It
located.
is, and I've almost finished my
So
terrible,
sure, I
shitty
think
drawing.
Baxter, my understanding is
Okay.
the ladder goes up, like out a porthole that we would have to
Gotcha.
open into the deep sea to
Yeah.
keep going up.
I mean, if we open up that hole there, if there's like a, I don't know what it's called. He makes like a little like U shape. Sing.
I'm gonna start climbing up this ladder. As I do, does Cynthia Harrell start singing to me?
Got you.
Long ass ladder.
I don't want to be down here anymore. It's so cold and wet and dark and deep down and far away from everything.
Why are you
Can't we just-
climbing? You can fly.
Can't we just take 10 minutes?
Let's take 10 minutes.
Guess.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Fine.
Yeah, so take me 10
But
minutes to move
also,
all
in
this
fact,
crap
this is
anyway.
important. This is an important joke question.
Okay.
Does Snake Eater start playing as I climb this ladder?
It does not, unfortunately.
Ah,
It doesn't
I
seem
get off the
long
ladder
enough.
and I start sulking.
So this is a side view. You guys kind of started down here in this bottom floor, and you explored the side rooms. And then you found the stairway leading up to the second floor, which is where you found the potions. And then you made your third floor, and this is where you guys currently are. This is where the crab battle happened. And then at the end of it, there's this glass dome. There's a ladder that starts inside the glass dome, but then it seems to go out of the glass dome into what appears to just be the ocean. And then it goes up into this rocky formation that hangs over you like an overhang. There is what appears to be a hole carved out of the rock that the ladder goes into, until at the top of the ladder you see just a little prick of blue light at the top of the ladder.
I'd like to ask Rax and Elise if they can see deeper now as well.
Yes, I can see much farther than I think I could before, down in the bottom dome.
Oh, you two could see. Okay, you were affected by this. Good, good, good. What about Rax?
Yeah. It still looks a little bit dark to me, but I think I can see those fish way over there. And he kind of like nods in a direction, and you can tell he's referring to some fish maybe like 120 feet away.
Ah. So we all have undersea vision 120 feet. Does that sound right?
I'm gonna cast water breathing.
All right.
Yay!
Take a moment and you begin this ritual. And all of you can feel this kind of clean, crisp sensation that fills your lungs. And also this almost ticklish feeling like ridges have formed along the inside of your throat.
That's weird and I hate it.
Yeah.
While Gail's doing that, I'm also going to just do some form of water bending to give myself a swim speed with these bracers.
Excellent. Kind of begin to toy with the water on the other side of the glass, making these swirling patterns.
Hey, Vasu, come here. I pull him to the grate. Are you able to pull water on the other side of this place where the coin goes?
Possibly. I don't know, God, can I?
So what are you trying to do?
I'm having him try to see if he can affect water that may or may not be on the other side of where that coin goes on the grate.
Oh, you kind of try to do your manipulation of water, and you are not able to like connect with any water that's like hidden on the other side of the blade or anything like that. It's not entirely clear whether that's because there is no water or if it's just because you don't really can't have a line of sight to it. Hard to say.
I want to open it.
All right. Looking around, you can see.
That was what I said to everyone else. I'm not
okay.
opening it like this.
Gotcha,
Giving people a chance to stop me. But I really want to open it.
I kind of agree. I feel like it's got to lead to something. Maybe it's where the valuables go. Maybe it's where they keep in Leah's ship.
Maybe.
Fear not the depths. Open it. Do it.
Yep. Everyone stay close together.
Yeah, I'm gonna find something like nearby. Well, I guess it's pretty smooth stone, isn't it? I'll go back up into the dome room and grab onto one of the rungs of this ladder. Just hold on real tight.
All right.
Yeah, let's hold each other.
You guys all kind of gather around and hold on to each other. Norda holds onto the ladder for stability. And you're trying to open the door or open the porthole.
I think we're trying to open the.
Open this.
Oh, you're trying to the thing under the crab. Gotcha. Okay, you take a look around, and it appears that this metal inlay is pretty flush with the floor of this stone. You start to look for gaps. Go ahead and give me either investigation or thieves' tools.
I will give you investigation.
Cool.
Can I use my spyglass? Can I use my magnifying glass?
Yes. Taking a look around with the 24, what you quickly discover is that it appears to be kind of just a big metal disc that has been dropped into an indentation in the stone and then kind of cemented in place with some sort of like plaster or caulk or something like that. And you're able to grab like a very fine tool and poke down through the caulk. And you find that it hits stone pretty quickly, and then it doesn't go anywhere past that. In other words, you do a little bit of testing and you get the sense that this does not lead to an opening on the other side. It just kind of seems to be, as best as you can tell, embedded into the stone floor here.
All right. Well, what happens when we put the coin in? Do we like hear like a click or an unlock somewhere?
You kind of take the coin and you put it back into place. You can see that it kind of spins freely in place. It is loose enough to be able to do that. But otherwise, it's a pretty snug fit. Just a little bit of a gap, enough to like stick a claw in and pull it back up if you wanted to. There is no reaction, no magnetic click, no magical reaction, nothing like that.
Gotcha. And the panel doesn't feel like it's a magical panel or anything.
With your 24 investigation, you do a lot of like rubbing of your thumbs and fingers over it, trying to get a sense for any vibrations, and it feels cold and mundane, and you can actually see there's a little bit of weather on it. You get the sense that it is not magical, and it doesn't light up for Vasu as he walks past it.
Gotcha. Well, maybe this was just like a placeholder for the key?
I suppose so.
What if we present both the coins to it?
I thought we only had one coin.
See, we only have one, as far as I'm aware.
I thought we found another one.
Yeah.
Do not believe so. Does this corridor is not very large, correct? Like not large enough for a ship?
No, it's about 15 feet wide, which is, for the record, a pretty wide corridor, but not enough for a ship.
Looking outside, I don't see like just a ship just chilling outside in the ocean.
Yep, taking a look
So
around.
I'll help look for that.
Yeah, go and give me some perception checks.
Jesus, I am rolling so bad today.
Me too.
Okay, get it out until combat.
Looking around, the first thing that catches a lot of your eye is just the sheer volume of wildlife down here, which seems to be unaware that it has been spotted. It's just kind of idly stalking its way through. You can see that as you're looking out, several of the larger creatures kind of emerge from hiding places. You get the sense that smaller creatures have been kind of unfazed, but larger things are slowly coming out of hiding after something. But you also spot Ace with a 17, a good distance away. What appears to be the ruins of some sort of a building, maybe only about a 2-story building, and it appears to be in tremendous decay. It has been overrun with coral and growth. There's sand that has kind of been pushed up around its edges. Fish have gathered around it as kind of a spot of shelter. No signs of a ship, no signs of anything else, but you do see what appears to be kind of a stone derelict building at the bottom of the sea.
How far away does it seem to be?
Maybe about 250 to 300 feet.
Question.
Yes.
Would I know, with my speak with animals, if I activated it in here, if I could speak with an animal through the glass, or are we going to have to like share some water?
You would be able to do it. It would come through very muffled, especially because looking out through this glass, it looks like pretty thick glass.
Okay. Cool.
But in theory, it would just be like shouting at any other creature through a thick glass.
Right. We'll just work on getting that up while we talk about what to do.
There didn't seem to be like an opening or anything in the original room that we found Rex in, right? Or whatever his name is. The dragon.
No openings or ladders or anything like that. Seem to be totally sealed.
I assume that this glass is too thick to cast magic through. Like I know that Gale has his little eye he can see through, but I'm assuming he can't cast it onto the side of the glass and have it go over and look at the runes over there.
So if it's, you would need line of sight.
Well, line of sight is this glass block line of sight.
Sorry, line of effect. So it's kind of the same ruling as Misty Step versus Dimension Door. You could, if it was a casting time of, or a casting range of self, and then you pick a spot that you can see, it would work. But if it has like a range and you cast something within that range, then it would hit the glass and then it would be cast at the closest point touching the glass.
Gotcha.
Like she said, don't fear the depths.
Yeah. Well,
Frankly, I
maybe we should.
can't help but fear it a little, but I don't see another way out of here.
Well, it looks like we have that ladder, which I'm assuming looks like it goes up. I really
Oh,
want to go
yeah,
look at
but-
those ruins, but we have no idea where even on the planet we are, or the plane we are.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what lives down here, but a lot of nasty things, I assume.
Yeah. And I'm kind of concerned because, I don't know, you can see that goes up into a land mass up there, but there aren't any humanoids within 5 miles of us. So
I'll go
either,
first if you want.
either we are more than 5 miles of ladder underground, or on a deserted island.
Well, I
Now,
figure
there
there's
is a
probably
light
just
at the very top.
more building up there, right? That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe. But I guess we should just go up and.
Yeah, that blue light tells me that there's maybe a portal there because it's very unlikely that there's light that shines from the top down here at the bottom.
Well,
You get
are we?
like sunlight wouldn't pierce all this water.
Or
I ain't as worried about the sea or what's up that ladder or any of that as I am about just opening this here porthole. I mean, I ain't no scientist or nothing, but I think we're just gonna get crushed by all the water comes flowing in here.
Oh, the porthole from down underneath us?
Oh,
No,
that
the
one's not.
porthole right here. He points to the porthole
Where?
that's like the ladder leads to a porthole that we have to open up into the open ocean.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Is the ladder in like encased, or is it like the ladder is just in the free open ocean?
So the ladder goes up to the top of the dome, where there is a seam that indicates that it can be opened, as well as a little latch. And then there is a gap, presumably big enough for the latch to, or for the what is it called? For the porthole to like swing open. And then the ladder resumes, just like a couple feet beyond that.
So the ladder, as far as it extends up into this area, is not like encased or anything. It's just a ladder sitting out in the middle of the ocean.
Correct.
Okay, that was my understanding as well.
Is
So
there
if we-
anything in the dome that looks like it can like seal off to like pressurize?
Do we not have Gale's backpack?
I meant more like if we open it, we're gonna have. First off, you're not gonna be able to open it because there's gonna be so much weight of the ocean to push outwards, and then if we do open it, it's just gonna pool water all inside this building.
Look, I
Unless
watched
there's some sort of
Pokemon, and you know what? They all left Team Rocket to die on that ocean liner, and
They
they
do.
survived anyways. So let's just open it.
Team Rocket's immortal.
Main character armor, go!
maybe there's some sort of magic that just holds the water out. But
We just
Yeah.
blow a hole in the wall and then go. It's fine.
you guys
Well,
are
no,
doing
me.
Things are inexplicable. Let us go. We must keep moving.
all right then. I'm still gonna hold on pretty tight to this ladder. Hope it doesn't rip
Let's
my
do
arm off or
that.
nothing.
I'm gonna get in between Nordo and the ladder.
Yeah,
I'm
I'll
gonna
sort
give
of.
Nordo guidance.
All right.
Thank you. I'll
Uh,
gather the small people up in my other arm and use the one arm to hold onto the ladder.
all right. Nordo, you find the latch. You kind of everybody braces yourself. Who are the two people closest to the latch? I'm assuming it's Nordo, and then Ace was kind of like between Nordo and the ladder.
I mean, I could be further down if need be, but is Nordo the one opening it?
Yeah, I think Nordo was kind of like down, holding onto the ladder and holding on to like Gale and Ace. So I figured somebody else was opening it.
Oh,
I'm
gotcha.
happy to go open it.
Okay,
Excellent.
you can do that if you want. I'd like to warn Elise and Rax what's happening in case they're not following.
All right. They begin to brace themselves as well, kind of
yeah.
towards the back.
How high is this ladder go?
About 15 feet.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not so high. You are thinking it was like 600 miles.
To be clear, I'm sorry, 15 feet up to the top of the dome, and then probably another 100 feet through just deep sea.
Yeah, that's fine. Just up to the latch. I
Yep.
just want to be within 30 feet of Moat when he opens it.
Perfect. Good call. All right. Moat, you grab the latch, and you can hear this heavy thunking click as you pull it. And then you can kind of start to push against it. Let me get an athletics check from you.
All right.
DC 500.
Nice.
Hopefully not.
Give
Strong
guidance.
boy.
You have guidance.
Oh, I have guidance.
But does he want to use the guidance now, or like when?
It only lasts
Now.
a minute.
Nice.
Just rips the door off and just
Alright.
throws it to the ocean.
At first, you kind of just like push with one arm, and it does not budge, not even the tiniest little bit. But then you kind of like get yourself with one leg wrapped around a rung of the ladder, in a position where you can almost just like shoulder check straight upwards. Gale provides a little bit of guidance, a little magical assistance, and also probably just a little bit of like, hey, it looks like it opens that way. Old-fashioned guidance. And you push, and with your third shove upwards, there is suddenly this hiss, as there is just a bolt, like a laser, of water that just cuts straight down through a seam of this thing as it begins to open. I need a dexterity saving throw from Moat and from Nordo. Nordo is totally fine. Moat takes 1 point of slashing damage. Thankfully protected very well by his armor. As this water just begins to jet in around the seam that has been created. And as soon as that seal has been broken, it suddenly begins to be much easier to push upwards, and it almost kind of takes care of itself, and you begin to lose control. However, several things begin to happen very, very quickly back to back. The first that happens is all of this water that has been pressurized, pushed down into this dome, begins to spray and reflect off of surfaces, especially off of your plate armor, in all directions, creating this mist, almost like a steam that fills the room. And as soon as that steam rolls over towards Flick, you begin to see this shell that he wears around his neck suddenly glows bright yellow. And then there is a wave of energy that erupts from it. And there is, just kind of in the flash of an eye, this bubble that emerges out from him in all directions, creating this rippling effect as the water is pushed out in all directions, creating a sphere about 60 feet in radius, 120 feet in diameter, where the water just kind of holds itself at bay like Moses parting the seas. It suddenly begins to be incredibly easy to flip this hatch open. It is made of heavy, heavy glass encased in a metal surrounding. But even as much as it weighs, with no water pressurizing it, you're able to just kind of flip it open. You can hear the sounds of sea life suddenly flopping down to the ground as it is pushed out of this water that has been pushed in all directions. You can kind of see flesh of these eels and octopi that fall down. They rain around you, some landing on the dome beside you, some, like a couple of these sardines, like fall into the dome with you and begin flapping around helplessly at the floor. But yeah, it appears that the water has pushed back in all directions 60 feet away from you, allowing you to open the hatch and causing several bits of sea life to just fall out from this hole.
See, that guy's even water won't fuck with me. Nor to
This
who.
is,
Sure knows to back off from you, Moat.
yeah, not from Flick's glowing necklace or anything.
Nor to who has Speak with Animals up and hears minnows screaming to their death. We'll start gathering them up and tossing them out into the water.
Yep, it's kind of
You
weird.
have to toss them 60 feet, don't you?
I'm very strong.
It's not too terribly hard. You kind of like climb up and poke your head above the hatch that's been opened. There's the smell of the sea and salt in all directions, but you can kind of just chuck them towards this wall of water that has been held back, and they splash through the skin of the sphere and begin happily swimming away as quickly as they can.
As soon as a couple of them go out, I'm going to be like, wait, one of you, hold up a second. Do me a favor.
Yeah, what's up?
On account of saving your life and all, you mind just staying here for about 10 minutes, and then after that, go swim over to them ruins over there and take a look around for me?
No promises. This is going to draw a lot of attention. Give me a persuasion or animal handling.
Okay.
Okay. All right, but we got to be really quick, and I can't, like, if something comes, I gotta hide.
I understand you do what you got to do.
Okay.
But I'll start casting this. It does take 10 minutes. I don't know if we even have that kind of time, but...
For the next 10 minutes, you guys kind of just watch in awe, as so do several other creatures. You can see that a lot of the smaller creatures nearby just immediately scurry away from this sudden disturbance. As well as several of the much larger creatures. Anything bigger than about a dolphin just begins bolting away from this. But there is a group of creatures in kind of the medium range, anything about the size of an octopus or so, that feels comfortable and confident to kind of swim over and investigate this bizarre thing that has just happened. However, none of them seem to threaten the little sardines, and after 10 minutes you're able to complete your ritual and you can kind of see through their eyes.
All right, then. I'll have them go swim. Well, I guess I can't really control them, but based on the previous instructions, have them swim over to the ruined temple thing. Nor will kind of sit down on the top of this dome and flicks bubble and close his eyes.
Alright, it's a bit of an arduous process. There are several points where they just stop and wait for things to kind of swim by. They're very timid the whole time, but eventually they get pretty close, maybe about 25-30 feet away from this building, and begin to kind of just poke their heads in and around it. You can see what appears to be just plain stone construction, similar to what you're currently in. And it looks like kind of 2 stories of a building. You can see that there probably used to be windows. 1 or 2 of them still have some scraps of this thick metal glass in it, but the rest of them have been long punched out or worn away. One of the walls has completely caved in, and it's just completely overgrown with deep sea life and vegetation. And also lots of critters using it as a hiding place. When they eventually kind of peek their way in, you find it is just teeming with small life. Snails, fish, lots of weird kelp and plant-like creatures, and any signs of like what used to be inside of this building has long since decayed. There are just bare floors, walls, a ceiling, and a couple of the windows that have not been completely just eaten away with time. Everything else seems to have been rotted and overgrown, and it's just the ancient dead skeleton of a stone building.
Nordo, like with his eyes closed and still seeing through the sardine's eyes, will out loud describe what he's seeing to everyone, if he happens to see anything that is identifying, which it doesn't sound like.
Yep.
And then do I see any traces of an airship anywhere that in this place or nearby during the travel to there?
Not anywhere in the path that they take, no.
Can he hear
Okay.
us?
No, I can only sense through the beast's senses. I'm just speaking out loud while I'm doing it.
Gotcha. Then I'll wait to ask when you get back.
So like at this point we would establish some sort of like tap my shoulder 3 times if I need to get out of this sort of thing.
Yeah, it was mostly I just want to ask a question, but I can't ask a follow-up question when you get back.
Yeah. Once the sardine is done and starts just kind of swimming around randomly eating, presumably,
Yep.
Nordo will drop that.
Did it look like the building was built there, or that it like sank and ended up there?
Oh boy.
That is what I asked Nordo.
Yeah,
but
so
he's
could
obviously
be
no
an
longer
investigation.
Could I
looking
tell
at
at all?
You can give me an investigation check. Try to get a sense for it. Survival might also work. You get slightly different. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, actually, one thing that you notice as they are swimming around is they appear to be on the lowest floor of this thing, and there's some sand built up around the edges, so it's a little bit hard to tell. But you don't see any signs of like a front doorway or an entryway on either of the floors that is currently visible. And you can see that on the first floor, when they eventually kind of just settle into their hiding spot, there appears to be some sort of a stairwell or a passageway that has stone stairs continuing deeper down into this building, which from your perspective takes it underground.
It looks like it was part buried. I don't know if it was built that way or if all the silt and such has come up over it. I don't know who builds a building way down here anyway. That's part of what I wonder about this place. How they even...
Well, this looks very similar to the other place we were at, right? So maybe...
I mean, God might. Sure, God.
No.
No,
What can
that's-
I find out about it? Is it a history check?
You could potentially do like history, Mason's tools, investigation, possibly.
I will
Again,
try history.
going off of secondhand information being fed to you from Nordo.
Yeah.
It's a real big building. There's a bunch of mud all around it.
Did it look like it had the same type of stone as in here?
Yeah, it looked about the same sort of stones, same way it was built.
One moment. Let me just check if I have this spell prepared. By scrolling down. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm gonna detect thoughts him.
Okay, that helps a lot. You're able to kind of see
His
exactly what he sees.
stuff. I do warn him first. Like, I'm going to read your mind. Your mind.
Sure.
Please consent.
Sure thing. Appreciate the warning.
Yeah, it's just enter, barge into your room like I'm your dad. I knock once, but I let myself in anyway. Nah, I ask first, and then okay, so with an Arcana check. Sorry, not Arcana, fucking history, right?
Sure, history or Mason's tools or maybe investigation. Yeah, it seems to be very similar to the construction of the building that you're in now, which again is very similar to the construction of the interior areas that you found back in Eridanis. No, like you're not really super familiar with like what civilization it's tied to, other than what you've already learned in Eridanis. It's not something that has been coming, not something that's coming up in your studies, or in any of the thoughts that are kind of lingering in your head.
Just to clarify on a minor like lore point, you're referring to it as Eridanis, but are you talking about like the actual city of Larvalfin has like
Yes.
or like the spire?
So the city of Larvalfin. So on the exterior, it was a lot of like stone construction that looked kind of like old timey, almost Mayan architecture. But then deeper in, once you kind of got into the walls of that canyon cliffside, there were stone rooms that were kind of just bare stone rooms that had been repurposed that were constructed similar to these.
Okay, that's what I thought you meant. Just wanted to double check.
Yep.
What time of day is it?
It was early afternoon when you guys got yeeted. Yoked.
Do we know what time it is though now? Like, do we have an idea of how long ago that was?
We got yoked.
Was it like an instant wake up?
You guys woke up groggily. None of you are really super confident that you weren't out for like, a million years, but it didn't feel like it. It felt like it was pretty quick. And assuming that you made the teleportation pretty quick, you've probably been exploring for about an hour now at this point. Which would put it at late afternoon, early evening, assuming that you weren't like asleep for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I say we press on. I don't reckon we can spend more time down here than we need to. As interesting as the buildings are.
Yeah, they're all at least related. I wonder if there's another, like, constellation place here.
Maybe it's right up there.
Perhaps.
Yeah, little orc, you want to lead the way again? You're awful good at staying hid.
Yeah, I mean, we have a giant. I mean, honestly, we have a giant air pocket. So, I mean, honestly, Foster's would be the easiest. He can at least fly up into the air pocket, up further than us, and get to the top of it before anyone else can.
It's true enough.
And I'll be right behind him, climbing the ladder, I guess. As long as Flick doesn't fall off the ladder and force me into the crushing depths, I think I'll be fine.
And you do notice that when Flick moves around, there's this kind of rippling effect as this sphere of air moves with him, centered on him, even through the glass surface in the walls.
Now watch your foot and real careful here, Flick.
Okay, but what if I don't fall off the ladder and I just shove Ace? Is that okay? I'm joking. I'm not going to do that.
It's okay, I will catch
Here,
you.
I thought we were friends.
We are. It was a joke.
I'm going to put 2 ball bearings on each ladder rung as I climb.
It's just a prank, bro.
Just a prank.
I'm imagining him. Are you taking the time to balance them on the rungs too?
So that's impressive.
Well, I assumed that they were flat, not like. I guess I don't know.
Who makes flat ladder rungs?
Most ladder rungs are flat. That's how they ought to be.
For like
anyone who doesn't want to slip.
Round is the strongest shape, though.
And the easiest to slip off of.
Yeah.
Well,
ladder rungs don't need to be that strong.
What do you mean
they
slip?
Just need to
You're grabbing
support.
it with your like monkey hands.
Bro, have you never stepped up a ladder in your life? They're never round rungs.
Okay, have you? I've never. This is a fixed ladder. This is a fixed ladder, not a ladder that you carry around.
Like,
I don't know. I guess I guess
where there are usually bars that they just kind of put on the
because
wall?
it's fixed. Fixed ones are usually bars, are they not?
In
No,
cartoons.
they still have steps,
Okay.
like a pool ladder has like steps.
A pool ladder is one thing. This is in the ocean, and they don't have
This is-
plastic.
I cannot think of a better analogy for this than a pool ladder.
Alright, you guys begin to continue up this ladder, this bizarre journey through this bubble centered on Flick, being ogled and watched by all of these deep sea creatures that would be invisible if not for the sudden ability to see through the dark depths of the ocean. Until
Does it
eventually...
freak you out more or less that that the creatures can see it?
Oh,
Or we...
I'm actually, as I'm saying all of this, I'm trying not to think about what's going on because I would hate it too much.
Oh, that's okay.
It is actually kind of similar to that one that was posted by Ace.
Suck it.
With that said, those are... I guess they are kind of rounded.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, you know what? Here we go. Ace, give me a luck check. High means it's round, low means it's flat. It's fine.
Okay. That's fine. It just would be way more. I feel like it would just be way more difficult to actually produce that. But you are God.
Let us step past the ladder, please. We've been in this same area for 3 hours.
You guys eventually push your way up into this hole that has been meticulously carved, and it appears to be artificially carved, smooth, clean corners, bored straight through this rock, until the ladder continues for another 30 or 40 feet, until you can see above you the shimmering surface of a pool of water, which quickly fades away and parts as Flick begins to approach it. And eventually, as you emerge, kind of surrounded by this wet stone, you find yourself in a new small chamber. And let me pull it up. So currently, all of the water in here has been parted by Flick's magical whatever the hell is going on. But you can see that it seems to have been arranged in such a way that you can climb up through this ladder into what would be kind of a sort of a shallow pool, and then there's a ramp that leads up to a metal door with just a simple hinge or kind of like a, handle. I don't know basic words tonight. I'm forgetting very, very basic words tonight.
That's okay. It happens to me every single day.
Yeah.
Is there a window or opening at all in this door?
There is not.
Well, just press on, you think, or
Yeah.
say
It's
we keep going?
You do see, actually, as you emerge, the source of the light. Just hanging directly from the ceiling, this lantern of some sort, ever burning, flickering as if by a candle, that gives off just kind of a soft light blue light. It's this very kind of almost Victorian style lantern.
I'm gonna place my ear against the door and see if I can hear anything on the other side.
Sure. Give me a perception check.
Can I also?
Sure.
What do I perceive?
I put my ear on Dodo's shell, so he amplifies it for me.
Both of you listen very intently, and apart from the drips of water from around you, where the water has almost been like pressed against the walls by whatever Flick is currently doing, there is no other sound coming from beyond the door.
Does the door have like a handle and a lock?
It does. It has a handle. You don't see any signs of a lock.
Okay. I guess we'll just open it. I just open it.
Alright, you just open it, and it emerges into another large room that is lit by several more of these hanging lanterns. There is a very plain stone wall that kind of divides the center of the room, floor to ceiling, and you can't see through it to the other side, but you can see that it does wrap around beyond that wall, and that there are two more metal doors, one to the left and one to the right. And as you kind of like pour out into the room and begin to explore, you find that it is entirely empty. But around on the other side, there is another metal door, this time with some engravings.
And do we see like the coin pop up on the side over here, showing us that it might be important?
That has already been revealed. Yeah, this is the coin that you guys already found.
I know, it's just on this map, so it's probably important for this map.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, it might be. Looking at this northernmost door, you can see that there is writing that is in Undercommon, and I believe you have somebody that speaks Undercommon and can translate.
It's me.
It's Ace. Then Ace, this is what you see written in Undercommon, kind of engraved on the center of this northernmost metal door.
It's like that classic meme. How do we read it? Is it here may we dwell in the darkness unseen, not as memories but remembers? Or is it here may we dwell not as memories in the darkness unseen but remembers?
Don't dead open inside.
Yeah. It is capitalized as shown here.
They're all capitalized.
True.
I know. I'm just checking if the HDN are a little bit bigger. Here may we dwell in the darkness unseen.
Put the coin in the number 8 slot.
Because 8 is infinity.
Really hung up on that. It's like 4 dungeons ago.
Still relevant.
Wonder where that humanoid went.
Oh, no, that's a square. Shit, hang on.
It's hard to say.
No, no. But tools are hard. There we go. Okay, you take the coin and you kind of put it into this number 8 slot. And sure enough, there is a little bit of kind of a magnetic snap as it seems to get into place, although there's still enough of a ledge or a gap around its edges that you could pull it free if you wanted to. And apart from the fact that it seems to snugly kind of pull itself into place, nothing else happens.
We want to check the other doors?
Suppose it couldn't hurt.
I open this door.
You open the door?
Well, I check it for traps first, and then I just open it
Sure.
gently.
Give me an investigation check. You check it for traps carefully, and it looks to be identical to the one that came in. And you open it, and nothing bad happens. And you find a very similar chamber to the one that you just came up through, with a ladder going down.
All right. Then I close the door and I go, "Hiya!" and then I kick it open because I really wanted to, but I wanted to be safe first.
All right, it clatters against the stone. 17 monsters spawn.
Yes. Look, another hole. I look down it.
There's a ladder that goes down and eventually breaches free of rock.
Is there water down there?
There would be if Flick was not so close by. Because Flick is nearby, all of the water that was filling this room has been pushed against the edges of the wall, and it's kind of just shimmering, almost like it's afraid of Flick in place.
Gotcha.
When we
Water
climbed,
fears
when we were climbing up, did we see any other ladders like leading up into this rock,
Um,
or any other openings?
You didn't, however, the fact that you're coming up under an overhang makes it so it'd be kind of hard to. Let me actually reveal a little bit because that might help explain a bit of what's going on. So top-down view. The dome that you guys came up from would be like kind of here, and then it connects down into the floor here, and then, yeah, you kind of get the idea. So there's this big stone wall, like an overhang, that would have obscured your vision of anything to the northeast of it.
I see. Okay.
I assume this one also has one. Should we go down them, you think?
I'm gonna walk up to this door and just kick it open without checking for traps first.
It explodes. Everybody takes 1,400 points of damage.
Yay!
But also, it appears to just be another similar room, just like the ones that you've seen before. This time, the ladder only seems to go down maybe 30 or 40 feet, and you can actually see the bottom. And then it stops, and you see what appears to be a kind of natural-looking cave floor.
Interesting.
Let's go explore.
Diva, you see anything down there with your special eyes? Is he alive?
He might be dead.
Fell asleep.
Maybe did.
He maybe did what?
With his special eyes, he can definitely tell that there is abjuration magic on this door. And nothing else rings up as magical except for the lanterns hanging all over this place, which have some transmutation, illusion, whatever an ever-burning light is.
Evocation.
Do you think that if we put it into this one or this one, we'd have a three-eyed mind flare appear? And then this, because it looks like the coin has like, magic spots.
Seems like good a guess as any. I ain't real good at puzzles and such.
I kind of want to meet a three-eyed mind flare. And then I put back on my skull so I can be invisible to mind flares.
Is it really?
Of course it is. Is there a ladder leading down into this hole right here?
There is. Both of these have ladders, even though I haven't drawn them.
Okay. Well, since this one's only 30 or 40 feet down, I guess I'll climb down and see what's down there. If it just literally stops at a floor at the bottom.
So when it gets to the floor, you can see that it enters what appears to be kind of a winding cavern. Although there are multiple points in this cavern that lanterns have been kind of planted in place on the sides. It appears to be like a man-made path through this natural cave formation. And, maybe 10 or 15 feet beyond you when you get down here, there's just a wall of water being held at bay by Flick up above you at the top of the ladder. It appears to be an underwater cave of some sort.
Okay. I'll come back up. That one just leads to a cave, and don't know what this one leads to over here, but...
Should we check the cave out? I think we need a couple more of these coins.
Yeah.
It's the impression I'm getting as well, so...
Maybe
I'll,
clues. Let's go to this one.
This way. Yep, I'll climb back down and lead the way through here once we're on dry ground.
Can I sit on your back?
Flex's dome. Of course.
Okay.
Hop on up.
I sit on his back and I just have my bow at the ready, just waiting for something to come into view, just in case.
Just like knocked and pulled.
Alright.
Hair trigger.
All begin to kind of make your way down here, and as Flick makes his way down, more and more of the wall of water is pushed back, leaving just this slick rock all over. There are several like slugs and bizarre creatures down here that kind of get left behind because they can't swim away faster than the wall is catching up. But a lot of other creatures are smart enough to move away from the advancing wall of, hey, I can't breathe here, and kind of just avoid you guys as you approach. And it appears to just kind of wind for a little bit. You can see that it is well worn, old and ancient and long reclaimed by nature, but there's definitely a deliberate path that has been made, illuminated by all of these lanterns put into the sides of the cave wall. And after maybe like 5 minutes of just pushing your way following this path, it eventually opens into... actually, let me go check the map real quick so I can describe this correctly. Okay, it opens into a fairly large cavern. And inside of this cavern, you can see that there is another small stone building. This one just barely even qualifies as a shack or a hut. It is a single, probably big enough for just a single room. It's made of stone. It does have an arched doorway on the front of it. And a couple of places where there would be windows, and in fact those windows are still intact for the most part. But it just appears to be a derelict stone building in the very middle of this large cavern, or cave.
Do I see any life forms about?
Absolutely. weird underwater slugs, lots of fish that are kind of hanging out at the edge of this bubble that's been produced. Yeah,
I
plant life.
mostly meant any danger life forms.
Legit, give me a perception check.
Can I
Any
do this?
goblin sharks?
Can I do the same also? I'm going to ping and see if I can feel that human, quote unquote, human.
Sure. Taking a close look around, the only things big enough that you can spot that could potentially be a threat is there are a couple of rather large fish that have these long bottom jaw teeth that kind of extend out in a grumpy-looking way. And they're big enough that they could probably get a good chomp on you if they really wanted to. But they are held at bay by the fact that there's a bubble of air, and they can't really get anywhere close to you because of Flick. Looking at the hut specifically, you can see that there's a lot of like small life that has used it for shelter, but nothing that looks super threatening, and a lot of it left as the wall of air approached.
Okay.
Ace,
Like anglerfish, kind of?
yeah, kind of like an anglerfish. Just some sort of real fucked up deep sea sharp-toothed fish monster.
But huge.
Probably
What
about the size of
about,
like a dog. Definitely big enough to be a threat, especially for the small ones among you.
I'm going to start working on that for the next 10 minutes.
Alright. Ace likewise begins a shorter ritual connecting to the nature around him, and detects, first of all, an aberration to the east within a mile, lots of other aberrations all over the place, and then that humanoid to the up and east within a mile.
So that humanoid's still around.
Seems so.
Good news, guys. That crab was not part human.
Good.
Well,
That also means that there's someone who's kind of humanish around.
that actually kind of gives me an idea. I know you're kind of being silly, but I don't know. What does a druid come up to you as when you sense them when they're in an animal form? Are they a little bit human? Just because there's the blue order of druids trying to sink the world in water, and this seems right up their alley.
Team Aqua?
Team Aqua, that's the one.
That's a good question.
I'm trying to remember if you've explicitly experienced this anywhere. You can give me a wisdom, like a spellcasting check, or actually Arcana, but you could use wisdom if you feel like it.
Okay, it will be one. Well, it's gonna be the same. I'm
Cool.
not proficient in Arcana, so I'll just give you a wisdom check.
The closest thing that you can recall is you didn't detect any humanoids around when you were at the Temple of the Locust, and you know that there were
was one
definitely some wild-shaped druids there.
Yeah. I do not believe I can sense them when they're not being human, but I can see them if they're close, and I point to my monocle.
Oh, that's handy at least, in case somebody's down here hiding as a snail or a slug or something.
Yeah. Also, I thought of an interesting question to ask my or the statement to tell my monocle later.
What is it?
Well, remember when we touched that creepy orb and we saw dead people?
I feel like that's happened more than once. Which one?
The one where we, everyone but Gale touched the orb and we acclimated with that thing that hates.
Right.
Yeah, maybe finding out whether or not we actually talked to the dead.
I would certainly like to know that. I've still got the letter she gave me.
Oh yeah.
I feel like it came from my mom and pop, but I'd like to know for sure.
Yeah, I feel like looking back, I probably should have questioned that a little bit more.
It was a heated time. We were going from one fight to another.
Also, this is a phenomenal song.
It's so goddamn good. Once my Speak with Animals is up, I'll try to convince some of these, maybe the anglerfish, somebody that looks like they know what's going on around here, to come talk to me.
Sure. You're go and give me an animal handling check. See how useful of a critter you get. You are eventually able to find a small octopus that has kind of just gone camouflage to look like a stone tucked away in the corner of one of these buildings. And it realizes it's been spotted. And it says, "Oh, My, I've been caught. Well then, are you going to eat me?
I ain't inclined to. All the same, I do got a couple questions for you, don't mind.
Oh, I can certainly try to help.
You look like you're no way around this place. You ever see something looks like this laying around? And I'll show him our little Mind Flayer coin.
Oh, quite. Yes, there actually used to be one in this building, but some time ago, some very large creature, not unlike myself, but, well, bigger and stronger and better in every way, came through and took everything that was important out of this building, along with several of my dear chaps, back to its cave, to its abode to the east.
Okay, I need to take a quick break and say I fucking love this octopus.
So fancy.
Alright then. What's over there in that building?
Well, now it's just, a place to find shelter from some of the more dangerous creatures down here. I presume that at some point some very large and impressively intelligent creature must have used it. Its magnificent construction. But alas, its glory days are long behind it.
Alright then. Nothing real interesting or real dangerous over there?
Certainly not, unless you wish to consume more of my chaps. I wish that you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't do such a thing. Not to a nice fellow like you.
Well,
How much obliged for the information?
if
What
you're
do you eat?
if you're looking for the shiny things, and you feel like dealing with that monstrosity, it's over kind of that way. You need to walk around that corner, and then there's a path that goes down. Do be careful. When I say that it's bigger and stronger than me, I'm not just being modest. It is probably at least 3 or 4 orders of magnitude larger than I am.
Well, thank you for that information. What's the most dangerous thing it does?
Presumably be large and eat things. I have seen that it tends to do this thing where it snaps one of its appendages, and then it's like the whole body locks up encased in ice. So it has some bizarre phenomenon where it's able to do that. I try to avoid it. It ate several of my friends.
Well, that's perfectly understandable. Thanks for your help. Here's something for you, and I'll give him one of the like bioluminescent mushrooms from the Feywild.
Oh, delicious. Think. I'll try it. Tally ho.
Tally ho.
What do we name this octopus?
Hey, what's your name, friend?
Haven't got one.
Hey, Nordo. Ask him if he's seen more of these coins.
It's literally the whole conversation I just had.
Oh, I must have missed that one last part. I'm so sorry.
You mean half of the conversation?
I spaced out for a bit. I'm sorry.
The whole conversation started with, "Have you seen any of these coins?" Well, he says he.
In Ace's defense, he can't understand what you're saying.
True. Yeah, our friend there said there used to be one of these here coins in that building over there, but now there ain't nothing in there on account of a big, scary monster, bigger even than him. Took the coin to that there cavern over there, and I'll point to it.
Out of curiosity, I don't think we ever got. How big is this octopus?
This octopus is probably about the size of a basketball.
Octomon, sure.
Okay. Like for octopus size, is that like the head part or like all tentacles and everything?
Like if you took the whole thing and just kind of curled it up into a ball, it's about the size of a basketball.
Okay.
To be fair, that would fit inside a bottle.
But he said some big scary monster came and took it, and ate a bunch of his friends. Took the coin
Dang.
over there, and he says that when it fights, it encases itself in ice. So watch out for that whenever we go get into our scuffle with it, if we do.
Oh, poor guy. Let's go get revenge for him.
He seemed like
Yeah.
a real nice fella. I need the coin, but the revenge would be a nice little icing on top.
Ice.
Let's do it. Let's do 2 birds with 1 stone.
As one of the 2 birds of this party, I take offense.
We collect still stones, so that's a good thing.
Alright. Who's leading the charge as you follow this guy's instructions?
I'll lead the way. He pointed it to me, and I will watch out for other dangers.
Oh,
Yeah, you're
and
the
I have
one who got
too.
the instructions.
I'll keep
Also,
an
I
eye
still
out.
have speak with animals for like 9 more minutes. Maybe we can just talk this thing into giving us the coin.
Do you think that our octopus friend would want to join us as an NPC?
I think that we could probably fit him on the ship with our other 15 NPCs.
He's just gonna get killed by Nordo.
No, it's okay. Look, I'm gonna open up a back panel and Tin Man like Krang. You can just stuff him in here.
I feel like, don't they need water to live? I don't know much about
right.
octopuses.
I think they can hold their breath for like 10 minutes.
I was going to say,
It's like
are you responsible for the fact that I'm having difficulty breathing right now? I mean, I can do it for a little while. It's no big deal, but I do hope it returns at some point, or I'll have to move.
No, it'll be back in just a couple minutes after we take care of that bastard what killed all your friends.
Oh, I do appreciate it. I do it myself, but, well, you know. Like I said, orders of magnitude.
Well, we're orders of magnitude better than you two, so it'll all work out, I think.
Why does this octopus have a better vocabulary?
Alright. With Gordo kind of leading the charge, you follow the directions that you've been given. Eventually, the water wraps around behind you and retakes the building that has been left with the octopus kind of curled up in its corners. And you start to make your way into this cave, clearly off of the beaten and lit path. However, your special vision continues to grant you the ability to see, even in what would normally be pitch blackness. And eventually, you find that it leads into a smaller but still somewhat open cavern, and you can see that there are just things strewn all about. There are little bits of what appear to be shipwreck. And at first you get your hopes up, expecting that perhaps it could be part of Leah's ship. But looking at it, the wood is ages rotten. There are bits of iron that have been rusted almost completely away. No cloth survives. It appears that whatever was collected by this creature within its den, most of it is ancient and long rotten. You do see that there are some bizarre scraps of metal, which appear as glass to Nomad. To the rest of you, it looks to be maybe just kind of weird construction bits here and there. None of it appears to have like a discrete purpose, or there aren't like tools or anything with writing on it. But it's just this collection of junk that has been gathered up into this cave. However, a couple of you give me a perception check or an investigation check to try to find this coin. And actually, you can do it with advantage because it's presumably going to light up to Vasio.
I also did a perception check there.
Could I do it investigating the glass-like material to me?
Yeah.
Could I investigate them? In case it's like hidden among them. Because I can see through it. I'm like, oh, there's a lens behind this glass.
Yeah, so the rest of them are kind of looking for this coin, and Nomad is fascinated with this glass material, and rightfully so, since he seems to be the only one affected by it.
Like metal, but it looks like glass.
It does, and one of the things that is especially bizarre to you with the 20 is you pick up a big piece of this that's about the size of a clipboard, and you hold it in front of something else to see if you can actually see through it, as you could with glass. And as you hold it in front of something else, it is almost like your mind fills in the gaps of what it expects to see through it. It does eventually see through it, but only kind of because you've already seen what's beyond it. And like, you do an experiment with the 20, and you have Ace hold up a certain number of fingers, but not tell you, and your mind can't fill in that gap. So you're not able to actually see the number of fingers that he holds up. It appears almost like a blur. Sometimes, like when you cross your eyes, it looks like 3, sometimes it looks like 5. But it isn't until you pull it away that you're actually able to see how many fingers he was holding up. And you just kind of get this bizarre sense that whatever this material is, it appears to you to be invisible, but it's all in your head. And as determined before, it is not magical.
This is really fun. Can I collect a bunch of this material?
Yeah, there's probably about 10, 15 pounds of this that you're able to kind of start gathering up.
What would you call this material?
I have a name for it. Where is it? Hang on.
Regular Damascus steel.
It sure is. Just good old-fashioned Damascus steel. Just mix a little bit of extra
Mind players
carbon in.
can't handle it.
lesser known fact about Damascus Steel: if it existed in a universe with mind flayers, they wouldn't be able to see it.
That's cool.
Well, are we sure that we want to make that statement? Or is it that it's just Nomad? Because Nomad has something messed up in his brain specifically.
I am literally insane.
Well, I think that all the clues we got point towards they were using this stuff at a pretty big scale to prevent all the outsiders. I don't know, maybe there's no more like Nomad left, but hard to imagine they built whole spires and cities out of this stuff if it was just to keep one guy out.
I doubt they would know about me, yes, I suppose. Or maybe it is just a coincidence.
Well, I don't know how long you've been around. You don't even know how old you are.
This is true. What if it's my birthday today?
So none of you actually know what it's called in character, but
Happy birthday.
if you want to mark it down for your inventory, you have about 15 pounds of
Benoisium.
Benoisium scrap.
But no, it's sure.
It's like a Benoit wall.
I will learn your properties, Benoisium.
Do I see any massive giant octopus monsters?
You do, at the last second, thankfully. Which is impressive because the thing has an astonishing stealth score. But the nat 20 with a plus 10 is enough to save you guys from a surprise round. As you guys are all investigating, Nomad is gathering scrap metal. Nordo and Vasu and Ace successfully do locate this coin tucked away in the back recesses of the cavern. You begin to turn around, and you notice a pillar of stone that just wasn't there before. And everybody else kind of just brushes it off as a pillar of stone. But Nordo, having spoken to he who shall not be named just a few minutes ago, and observing his remarkable qualities of camouflage and how well he adapted to look like the stone surface of that building, you immediately recognize that something is wrong and something is out of place, and that this giant stone pillar is, in fact, a creature that is temporarily disguised to look like stone. And sure enough, when it realizes that it's been spotted, you see momentarily this eye just blinks open, and it is bright yellow with the 3 spotted irises, and it speaks, "Forgive me, my children. My presence isn't safe. Do what you must." And then the eye is forcefully kind of rejected, and you watch as all of the stone skin unfurls, revealing this brilliant white kind of sponge-like flesh with several appendages that begin to reach out towards all of you. And that'll be initiative when I pull you over to the map in a second.
Here we go.
Is she like randomly possessing creatures that we find, and
I
then
was about to say,
they come back to normal and we fight them?
on a similar note, do I get the sense that this is just a regular ass beast? And was the voice I just heard the Deep Mother, or was it like speaking to me and beast?
That voice in your head was in your head, similar to what spoke to you before. And it seemed to be telepathic and a similar voice to the mother's voice that we were hearing earlier. In other words, you don't think it came from this creature.
Whoops.
Like before, once its camouflage has been dropped, you do see just streaks of white starting at the extremities and working its way towards the core of its body. This pale creature, with just littered with eyes in all directions under its cap, and these 7 tentacles begins to lash out towards you.
Oh, I must have your skin.
God damn it. Fucking lie.
Christ.
There's light coming from it, right?
Ooh, it's so yucky and large.
God, fucking initiative rolls. Okay.
9.
Alright.
Abyss.
Nordo, having spotted it first, you are the first to act.
Okay. Well, at the top of the round talk round, I just want to in beast. I don't know. There's maybe animal handling or insight or something. Can I tell if this thing can be talked down, or is it possessed by some force that's controlling it?
You could give me okay, actually this would be very obvious to you because you have magic up. You attempt to speak to this thing and it seems to either not understand you or not respond. And normally, like, even beasts that are aggressive to you say, like, get over here, I'm gonna make a snack out of you, or something like that. Like, you can hear them talking in their normal beast speech. Whatever this thing speaks, like, you hear noises coming from it, but you don't understand it. You get the sense it is not a beast.
Okay, cool. In that case, I will swim over to it. Is swimming half movement?
Oh,
we're not swimming. We have flicks things.
You got
Super.
flick. Yep.
I'm just gonna walk my ass over here and then. Beautiful. If I go to this space right here, can it still see me?
Probably, like, yes, for the purposes of targeting a spell, but you'd have 3/4 cover. Like, you have a fuckload of cover.
Great. All I need is for the purpose of targeting a thing, which is that I go charging over, and since this worked so well on the last one, I'll do it again. Big spectral bear appears around Nordo. Lets out a terrifying bear roar, wildly out of place deep below the sea.
God damn it.
And
oh, it has okay saves. We'll see.
Rare. Oh,
Hell
so
no.
good.
Not having any of that.
Balls. Okay, that's my action. And then, because this worked so well last time, I will step back forward towards it. And with my bonus action, spend a key point, slam my foot on the ground, some crevices open up in the earth below me.
Oh no. Alright. One of these fissures just engulfs this thing.
Alright, that's my movement, action, and bonus action. That is the end of my turn, but it is restrained.
Alright. Let's see. Does it have... I think it does. What can it do? Nope. Sure can't. Alright, that brings us to Gale.
Wow. Alright. Come around this corner and I'm gonna shoot it. Or not.
17 is no good, but 26 is good. Oh wait, do you have anybody next to it? I don't think you...
He doesn't need to, it's restrained.
Oh, it's restrained. That's right. So, 17, unfortunately, is no good, but the 26 is good. Sinks in for 18 points of piercing damage. And as the bullet sinks in, the first thing that you see is a spray of this, like, almost brilliant neon cyan blood. Like coolant fluid from a car. Just bursts out of the wound, rapidly freezes, and then shatters and explodes, sending a spray of these sharp, icy fragments all over the point of the impact. Nobody's close enough to get caught in the blast, but you do see that as soon as you sink in.
Cool. Then Toto is going to take my gun
And shoot.
and he's gonna shoot the abyssal puss.
Can he actually do this?
Sure can.
I love it.
Imagine the gauntlets give him fingers.
Terrific.
I just load a little reduce cartridge into his ass and
God
fires
damn
it.
Is there
Toto
any-
is a gun.
Okay, it's a con save. Toto's got a gun.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Should have used enlarge on somebody. One of these days I'll get reduced to work.
One of these days. All right. Anything else?
I mean, you did
Yeah.
River-
Tin Man's gonna come over.
to great effect. Nice.
22 and 24 are both good for 28 total points of damage. However, as each one sinks in, actually, bludgeoning, no, he's fine. There's this bizarre, almost crunching sensation with each punch beneath the skin.
Gross.
It's
That's
real
it.
gross. Alright, that brings us to Lise. 1, 15, 25, 30. We'll just Tabaxi Dash to get right up. And she's gonna swing. Missing terribly. This thing just kind of swats the sword aside before she can get a good shot. And that brings us to Ace.
I assume this is an aberration.
It sure is.
Hold on,
22.
I get one more just to see if it's a crit.
Yep.
It's not.
30 fucking 4 points of damage. This gout of neon blue blood erupts and then bursts. Where are you at? Oh, perfect. As it bursts, shards of ice explode in all directions, and let's see, 22 is another one for 17.
Do I get hit with shards of flame?
Icy boy.
You don't.
Elise does. Well, she should have thought about that before she went up close.
She should have.
I have one more attack coming.
Excellent. She'll be okay.
I'm assuming a 23 hits.
It sure does.
And then I'm going to take my bonus action to look around and see if there's anyone else hiding about.
Sure. Give me a perception check. Nothing that is immediately visible to you.
Lordy. Alright, then I'm gonna... Is this like cover?
It is. It is a floor-to-ceiling stalagtite. I don't know. I've looked before and I can't find the word. If anybody knows the word for one that connects to both the floor and ceiling, let me know.
Pillar?
Oh, pillar?
I usually just
a
go
pillar.
with pillar, but I feel like there's got to be a better word for it.
Well, I'm gonna duck behind this pillar.
All right.
Lagmatite.
Flicks up.
Stalagmatite.
That'll bring us to Flick. If he's back. I think he had a call, possibly?
It's
No,
called a
wait, no.
column.
He's way
Oh,
off.
he's
like
not
Nate.
at work now.
He's way off of work.
He's being lazy.
He might be dead.
Stalagnate? Is that true? Or are you making that
No,
up?
it's
He
called
said he
column.
said he messaged me earlier that he was like super sleepy. He says he's been up since 7 a.m.
It's very
That's
possible.
too-
guys.
No, wait, no, sorry, no, maybe, no, maybe he slept from 7 a.m. to 1:30. Never mind, I misread.
We'll skip him for now. He might have fallen asleep. It's reasonable. Mosa.
All right. I will. I will use my bonus action to cast Wrathful Smite. And then I will step up besides our friend here, and I will swing on him.
Oh, they're called columns?
Apparently they're called stalagmites, although that...
Column or pillar is probably common.
Is he restrained
Right.
or anything?
He is restrained.
He is
yes.
restrained, yep.
Nice!
Oh boy.
Fire damage.
17 points of slashing and fire. As you slash in, some of this blue blood does erupt out towards you and the construct spirit. I need dex saves from each of you.
But why?
I don't know, ask Mo. 6 additional psychic damage and a wisdom saving throw.
I'll use my reaction to take no damage from that blue blood.
Excellent. Ooh boy, it fails that. It is now
Reaction
afraid of you.
Taking no damage?
Shield Master.
Oh!
Shield Master.
You're a shield master.
As the flames sear through, you can see that the arm that you've cut into suddenly retracts, and this thing locks eyes with you. Several of the eyes.
Perfect. And then I will take my second attack. I'm sorry, Gale.
It's okay.
23 is good for another 16.
And I'll smite into that one.
All these 10s, my dude.
Lots of 10s. Good smite. Good lord. Oh, that's 3d8. Average smite.
I was to say it's not a great smite. I wish to God I was next to this creature.
Right. Alright.
Dying.
Anything else?
That should be it.
Alright, it's still kicking for now. Do we have a Vasu?
He's dead.
I think he's dead. Nomad.
Right. Well, ooh la la. It's gonna be its turn soon. Do I see that it only bleeds from like physical attacks?
You did notice that the bludgeoning attack didn't seem to cause it to happen. It seems to be anything that causes like its skin to be ruptured.
Okay, I'm gonna try and like shoot over that purple lightning from last time. I have so many goddamn cantrips. 8 with advantage.
Yup.
What a shame with the 28 damage. That is me.
Alright. This thing does get a turn in spite of its terrible initiative roll. Alright, the first thing that it's going to do is going to lash out with 2 of its lesser arms. One towards Nordo. You've got a bunch of cover. You got a +5 to cover from this.
And disadvantage because he's afraid of me.
Correct.
And because of restraint.
I just realized something.
I think that's still
It's
it.
across the board.
Yeah, I just realized something. This cantrip, I'm not sure it's working right.
It's a d20 with a +5 to hit.
Is it +5 only?
It should be your intelligence and your proficiency.
Exactly! I don't have a +5 is just my intelligence.
Huh.
What is going on?
Weird. I'll take a look in a second.
Yeah,
It could also be your proficiency, so check that it's
my
what the
proficiency.
casting status.
Yeah, my proficiency. It's wizard. It's wizard.
Yeah,
Let me see.
your proficiency part is already working. Like that part in the formula is working, so it's not getting your intelligence somewhere.
Sure, let me check that. Well, it's 13. I don't think that hits.
13 is still a miss, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Let
right.
me.
With the second
Figure
small
that.
arm, it is going to lash out towards. Let's do a second one towards Flick. 20, I believe, does hit him.
I mean, I have wizard selected. It should be working fine.
20
That's
does
its
hit
order.
him for 11 points piercing and cold. But then, from its center, with one of its larger arms, it is going to lash out towards Moat, because you need to stop that young man. Does a 22 hit Moat?
It does not. I will not stop.
Son of a bitch! Alright, it tried. That's its turn. That brings us to the top of the round. Where Ace is the first act.
Okie dokie. Is there a way that I could like aim my arrow so that when I hit it, the backsplash is not going to hit someone? Like, could I aim like up at its head or something?
Yeah, you're a sharpshooter. Normally I would impose like